NASDAQ 70 points higher. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
The Trump administration can move forward with its latest asylum policy.
The new rules say before applying for asylum in the U.S., migrants must first apply in the first country they entered, like Mexico. ACLU attorney Lee Gallant went before Judge John Tigar on Wednesday, hoping for a different ruling.
Some of our organizations are working in Mexico, have to advise clients immediately what to do if this ban is in effect, whether to apply for asylum in another country, notwithstanding the danger of doing so.
The Trump administration says the rule change is meant to end exploitation of the asylum process. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Yellowstone National Park officials say a bull bison tossed a 9-year-old Florida girl into the air when the animal charged a group of about 50 tourists. The bison rushed the group Monday as they approached within 5 to 10 feet of the animal. The girl was treated and released. Injuries of tourists by bison and other wildlife occur regularly in Yellowstone, which gets about 4 million visitors annually. Trade talks between the U.S. and China are set to resume next week.
My expectation is there'll be a few more meetings before we get a deal done. So I wouldn't expect we'll resolve all the issues, but the fact that we're back at the table at the direction of the two presidents is important.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says he and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer will be meeting with their Chinese counterparts in Shanghai, with follow-up talks to be scheduled later in Washington. Europeans are jumping into public fountains and the sea to keep cool as parts of Europe are seeing record-breaking temperatures. Paris and other parts of France expecting temperatures of 108 degrees, along with Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. Air conditioning not common at homes, offices, schools, or hospitals in European cities. The French health minister says the heat wave is affecting 20 million people in France. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Hafaday and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The governor's office announcing the release of $32.8 million in Medicaid payments, the vast majority of which went to Guam Regional Medical City and just 3% to Guam Memorial Hospital. The flood of Medicaid funds from CMS follows passage of federal legislation last month allowing 100% reimbursement from Guam's remaining Obamacare Act funds without the need to put up any locally matching funds. In all, Guam Regional Medical City got $25.8 million in reimbursements for the care it provided to its Medicaid patients. GMH got just $855,000. Governor's office explained that GRMC has been waiting for Medicaid reimbursements for years. GMH Chief Executive Officer Lillian Perez Posadas told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that the $855,000 GMH got was in addition to another $500,000 received from CMS earlier this month. Posadas said she doesn't think that GMH is behind in filing claims for Medicaid reimbursements, but she would check on that. In a release yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero called the additional Medicaid funding a welcome reprieve and the result of all our efforts to make our case before the federal government. Rose Hermoso told a legislative committee yesterday that she was dismayed to learn that a University of Guam professor who she alleged raped her 10 years ago was not on the sex offender registry list when she returned to the island last September. Hermoso testified during a public hearing on Senator Amanda Shelton's Bill number 157 yesterday, which would require convicted sex offenders to register on the sex offender registry website, even if their cases are under appeal. I'm here as a victim turned survivor, said Hermoso. Senator Shelton said her bill would close a loophole. She introduced it in June after the Guam Supreme Court upheld the October 2017 criminal sexual conduct conviction of former UOG professor Michael Ellert. Ellert was not required to register as a sex offender until after the decision upholding his conviction. He has now registered, and he began serving his 18-month prison sentence in June. Let's close that loophole, said Hermoso, who did not mention Ellert by name during her testimony. We'll have more news after this.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
Worry less and stay connected when traveling for business. With Docomo Pacific's Data to Go, you can use your local data abroad, whether you're accessing emails, surfing the web, or just keeping in contact with your family and friends. For just $10 a day on any postpaid plan, you can get access to any of our 17 Data to Go destinations. Don't wait. Call 688-2677 or email businesssales@DocomoPacific.com to make sure your account is Data to Go ready. You plus Docomo Pacific, better together.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The Federal Aviation Commission has denied a request from the Marine Corps to declare a restricted airspace zone rising 4,900 feet over the live fire training range complex being built on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base. The U.S. Marine Corps asked the FAA to declare the restricted zone over the firing range in order to contain vertical hazards associated with the training range complex. However, following their review of the proposal and the comments submitted by those who responded to it, the FAA concluded that the Marine Corps has numerous live fire ranges without the need for a restricted fly zone above them, and they can complete their mission on Guam safely and effectively without one. Senator Clint Rigel was among those who submitted comments on the proposed restricted airspace. He asked whether any commercial flights from Guam would be affected by the declaration and wondered why it was necessary to restrict airspace for small arms fire. In a release yesterday, the senator called the Marines' request for a restricted airspace an example of how the Department of Defense asks to restrict more space than it needs. 34-year-old Octopus Pui Pui made his first appearance in Superior Court yesterday on allegations of urinating in public. According to the magistrate report, Pui Pui was observed urinating last Saturday afternoon on Happy Landing Road in Tamuning. An officer approached him, identified himself, but Pui ignored him and continued urinating. He was arrested following a struggle. Pui, also known as Rambo Milk and by other names, was charged with indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan yesterday asked him about the other names he uses, and Pui, through a Chukis interpreter, told the judge, "Rambo Milk is my real name. Those other names I made up," he said. Pui pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. He's due back in court on August 1st. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at our weather.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was Quan, I would have gone all day on that. I mean, there you are. Your real first name is Rambo, but you've elected to be Octopus on a day like today?
That's what he said.
I mean, if I was Rambo, I'd be Rambo every day.
Yeah, my new name is
It's a Rambo Knight.
Yeah,
I'd be Rambo Gibson. You're Rambo Kerrigan.
Yeah, I'm going to be Fred Marsbar.
Everybody call up the radio station. What's your name? Rambo. We're all Rambos today. 6:12 in the morning, and let me see if there's some weather for us today. It's partly sunny skies with isolated showers. Now, what is the difference between partly sunny and mostly cloudy? There's a distinction in the nomenclature, isn't there?
There really is. Partly sunny just means a few clouds to block the sun. Mostly cloudy means only a little bit of sun peeking through the clouds.
Okay, all right. Isolated showers are in the forecast. We'll see some of that here on the radar. We've got light variable winds becoming northeast, about 10 miles an hour this afternoon. Highs near 89. And overnight lows should be about 79 degrees. There's sunset tonight at about 10 away from 7 o'clock, later and later. And we've got sunrise this morning. Actually, earlier and earlier. Sunrise this morning happening later and later at 6:04. If you're not completely confused, here's Rambo Knight from the Point's Weather Center now with an interpretation of the weather radar.
Yeah, and this is actually the time of year where we lose more daylight as we go. We lost 2 minutes from yesterday to today. For the visual, looking over at radar, we see some showers off to our west. We had a big area of showers and thunderstorms that was to our east yesterday evening, and it was really looking like that was going to come on over, and it really didn't. It kind of fizzled out overnight and then kind of reasserted itself to our west. It's all moving away. We may see an isolated shower or two. Going to the regular satellite real quick, not much going on. We do have some blobbage down to the east of us. Not sure if that's going to make its way through here. 91 WNVest up to the north, and it's going to continue going towards Japan. And then I've got the third satellite picture that I set up for you. This is the upper level satellite. It shows a lot of upper level features.
It's not pretty.
Yeah,
it's not pretty like the other one. There's only a couple of colors.
But it can show what's going on. And we see this spinny thing coming in from the northeast. That's a big upper level low. And as you see, as it continues to push this way, it looks like there's kind of a clear, dry slot there. That's really what we're looking for to move through sometime during the day today. So that's why they're not expecting a whole lot of rain. As this upper level low, though, starts to travel to the west, it will drag up all that nasty part that's over on the eastern side of it and bring it on across, probably, say, tomorrow and into Friday. So, or tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow and maybe into Saturday.
Gotcha.
I know we lost a day this week.
Yeah, it's all fuzzy in my head.
It really is.
So let me see. I got break. Let me put this to you in very clear terms. There's an opportunity for a friend of mine to conduct a raid on Area Hyatt today, and the whole premise was based on, will there be sunshine this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. There might be a little bit of rain in the forecast as well.
Yeah, it could be an isolated shower. Nothing like yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a freak thing.
Yesterday was a great day. It was. I mean, we had people. I've seen people posting stuff on their Facebook feeds like 78 degrees, 76 degrees out there in the afternoon because the sun never came out hard.
I had to use the comforter last night when I slept.
It was that good. 6:15 in the morning. All right, that's news and plenty of weather here. Brought to you. What do you got? A couple of other things. Beach hazard statement in effect through Sunday afternoon. The particular hazard that they're looking for, potential for large quantities of box jellyfish.
Yeah, we're right after the full moon, 9 to 10 days after the full moon. They'll pop up, and then this time of year, they're usually at peak anyway, mostly for the eastern shores, but they could wander over here to the west as well.
I want to ask you a fairly serious question.
Yes.
It could have massive implications. Is Mars still in retrograde?
It's Mercury.
Mercury is okay.
Yes.
Mercury's in retrograde. Is it still in retrograde?
Yeah, and actually, this is the second time this year it's been so, which is kind of weird.
We'll talk about what some of the impacts of Mercury being in retrograde are. Because folks might be looking for an excuse for screwing something up real bad. And near as I can tell, Mercury being in retrograde is one of them. It's 6:16. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Commentary coming in on Facebook Live this morning. I can't even. 6:17 in the morning. It's the Summer of Jeep ending on July 31st. Right now at Cars Plus up in Mighty, you can test drive the Grand Cherokee, regular Cherokee, and the Compass, or get behind the wheel of your Jeep Wrangler. Comes in your favorite colors, and that's what you get on the lot. And then you go in the part department and you start customizing and hacking your Wrangler so it is completely you. I think that would make a great back-to-school project for somebody. Started at Cars Plus in Mighty. Solar with battery storage now available to Guam homeowners. The number's 632-2613 at Micronesia Renewable Energy. This broadcast is brought to you by American President Line's global presence with a local home, and it's not Tuesday anymore. It's not Wednesday. It's Thursday, and you might be looking for a happy hour somewhere. So check out the one that they've got 4 to 6 all day Tuesday at Ruby Tuesdays. Draft beers, wine, sangrias, the RT Tipsy Palmer or Ruby Relaxer, all $5 or less. $5 apps too. Check them out for happy hour tonight at Ruby Tuesday Guam. And who, Nembo? You want me to do Nembo? After you're done buying that new car from Cars Plus, take it over to Nembo and say, I want you to add this to my bundle, and then they will reconfigure. They got a bundle button on a spreadsheet there that could save you up to 50% with your insurance. Nembo Insurance is open later on. Call them at 477-9754.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Started? What's the rush? It's Thursday. I got the producers looking at me like, anytime now, Gib, you can go ahead and press that microphone. We'll go ahead and get things started on the Ray Gibson Show.
No, you know, if the bed plays for 2 minutes, I got to turn on the disco ball, bro.
But it's a long theme. This thing will go forever. We always just play the beginning of it, but the theme music actually goes for quite some time. You know, it's one of these Miko Monardo things. You can actually find us on YouTube, which is where we found it. This is not going to be a good hair moment for me. 888-825-5888-TALK. Welcome to the broadcast because the mess it is the Ray Gibson Show. My name is Ray Gibson, as usual, surrounded by broadcast professionals like Rambo Knight over there. We might make that the meme for today. I don't know. I think there ought to be Ken Leon Guerrero when he calls in a little bit later on. Just say hi. This is Rambo Leon Guerrero. Because I think that's just fun. There was a conversation going on near me in the last 24 hours. And it had to do with that. It was the nature of the way people name themselves when they come to Guam, or different ways that they put together their alias. And I was only halfway paying attention to it, but it did actually sound like there was a method or so to that kind of madness. And I honestly don't know what it was. But if you've got some theories on how it is that, you know, folks are coming in from the FAS and FSM and you know, they might have one name for themselves in the village and the island that they came from, but when they come to Guam, when they come to the United States of America, what is it that inspires them for names like Rambo Milk or Octopus Pui Pui? We're also getting requests from folks that are listening this morning to ask Kevin Kerrigan if he can include the Octopus Pui Pui story in every newscast that he does today, because people like the way Kevin Kerrigan says Octopus Pui Pui.
No.
Broadcast professional. Right there, Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, and he's got a bunch of incredible stories that they're going to be talking about today, up to and including a conversation that took place last night in the village of Jigo, expressing concerns about their safety. And then there's another interesting bunch of stories about how about the guys over at in the government of Guam, some of the uniformed services, the police department and the Department of Corrections, et cetera, really having a hard time apparently hiring enough people to do the job. So they're going to be conducting a job fair, and that got me thinking. You know, not to be that bombastic kind of, gosh, he's got to be critical about everything guy. But yeah, I do kind of have to be a little bit bombastic and critical from time to time. My first thoughts when I heard that they were going to be doing some kind of a job fair for police officers, I immediately thought about the 80s movie series Police Academy, and maybe the thought popped into your head as well. And so Mike, I've got if you don't mind, press up the average thing. I think I found. There it is. There it is. The theme song. The Police Academy rap. Citizens on Patrol.
Have you heard the word out on the street? There's a new kind of heat that's walking the beat. Citizens on patrol. Cause the neighborhood folks won't take no more. They got bars on the windows, locks on the doors. Clean the streets is what they'll do. They're gonna get rid of all the punks like you. They're citizens on patrol. Citizens on patrol.
There it is. That's the new theme song for the Guam Police Department, and maybe a couple of other departments and agencies looking for people. We'll get to work on some of that a little bit later on. And yes, the answer is I will do my best to endeavor to play that song as much as I possibly can this morning. The Citizens on Patrol rap from Police Academy. Oh, there are a couple of other things that I got to take care of right now, up to and including welcoming the most important contributors to the program.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
And the new tradition, we start with the top 10 and then see who else is left on the Facebook Live. Ismael comfortably back in the lead at number 1. There's Anita Muftis with her beautiful Valentine's eyes. John Ray and James Howard. James thinks he came in later, but he's actually number 4 on the list that I look at. Heather Perez. Good morning, Heather. J.B. St. Nicholas. I got Rico Bankaflor and Dennis Mansour's online. Pat and Norma Jean are there, and Joe Bloss is there. That rounds out the top 10 that I'm looking at. Ken L.G. chimes in this morning and talking about another $2+ million that the government of Guam is in the hole. Good morning, Juanita Machi and Cheryl Ochai. Ken with an invitation, and you can call this one in a little bit later on to join him at the Senorita Senior Citizen Center to discuss the state of our island and what we can do about it. The show starts at 7 o'clock. We got Randy Kruger's on, Yoichi Rangil, saying Ongil Tutao, and good morning to you, buddy. James Howard with a couple of comments talking about Guam Regional Medical City getting a kiss from the governor's office to the tune of, how much was that?
From CMS, not from Guam.
Well, through the government of Guam.
Yeah, paid out for the Department of Administration.
$26 million. And James's point is GRMC does their banking over at the Bank of Guam. But pretty interesting connection. What is it? Zita T. Wine Miller is online. Marvin Matanani is hanging out. Linda Gabriel, good morning to you. Nice to see you online. Rico Blancafor, Octopus Pui Pui, still a funny name. Agree. And hopefully there's some kind of a contest going on with some of these guys that are a little bit of thuggish, ruggish, and maybe there's a competition to come up with the goofiest names to tell the guys when you go through the magistrate process at the police department. Cousin Teddy at the ranch, John Dueña saying Rambo Milk is a real name. Rambo Milk apparently is a real name. Octopus Pui Pui was the alias that he used. Look, the other thing that you got to keep in mind here is as they go through the magistrate process. Remember, the guy was picked up on what was it? Showing his Pui Pui, I guess, and urinating in public. But I think he was also drunk and disorderly, right?
Yeah,
was that not one of the charges?
Yeah.
So it's possible that Octopus Pui Pui may have been the only 2 coherent phrases that the police could understand.
See, what you need to do to come up with one of these names is walk into a Payless store somewhere and walk down aisle number 2 and keep your eyes closed, open your eyes, and the first thing you see is your first name. Ooh. Then go over to aisle 7 and do the same thing. And those are your names. So it could be something like Playtex Reese's or something like that.
Charlotte Gentapanan is watching all the way from Washington. A little bit more clarity, Charlotte. Is it Washington, D.C. or Washington State? Left hand or right hand of the United States of America? Who else going to be doing this? Got to check FSM officials about all of these names. Odessa Manley, Fadzi Palacios is online. Who else is playing around? James Schmidt. John Duenas changing my name to Zuzu Sneakers or Zuzu Pedals. Not sure, depending on whether it's partly cloudy or mostly sunny in his head. And again, the forecast calls for partly sunny skies. I don't know how that's going to factor into your renaming of yourself today. Pete Guerrero's online. Simon Sanchez from the CCU is there. Smug Wimp at Lillian Cruz. Gino Cono. Dennis Bensour is here. Yes, Dennis, retrograde. I don't know what it means either. I don't know what it means. We're first talking about that at the hike a couple of weeks ago, and everybody using it as their excuses for everything that went bad. And so I'm trying to figure out whether it's something that is Mercury in. I'm totally serious here. There's got to be one of you space age hippies that are listening to the broadcast right now that can enlighten me on what that means. What does it mean when Mercury is in retrograde, and does it really have anything to do with I don't know, people's attitudes, crime rates, weather? I mean, is there anything to this?
Yeah, this is,
I mean, and will like a CBD gummy bear take care of it?
Yeah, and Mercury, because it goes around the sun and it's closer to the sun, it actually goes retrograde like 3 times a year. We're in our second one right now. There's another one coming from Halloween to November 20th. And crashed computers, missed flights, tensions in your workplace. A person who subscribes to astrology will tell you to expect all this chaos and more when Mercury
And what were we
retrogrades.
dealing with in the last couple of days? With the crash computer on the stream. I had to deal with crashed computer the other day, and maybe power outages and random power outages in the middle of the day just because it was raining hard somewhere. I don't know. Maybe there is something to that. Ismael says Mars in retrograde translates into, if you don't like what the lieutenant governor is doing, suck it up and run for office yourself. Well, there's still a lot of that on Facebook, and there's still a lot of people that are absolutely untickled by that comment that he made. Joe Ed says, my new name is Patas Guan. I'm sorry, no, Patas Guian. That's funny. Ray Cruz saying, buenas from all the way up in Saipan. James Lester Lanzo wishing everybody a good morning. Tony, Annette, and Pinko Ada Tetuers online. Who else is playing around? I got the Cheryl Distor song. Let's go running. I'll run, you bike next to me. How's that? Pam Duvall saying good morning. Usually she's on earlier, but she gets a pass because she actually showed up at the town hall that they had up in Jigo. And is there a rifflet on that? Yes, there absolutely is. Dave Duenas is online saying buenas. Charlotte says she's listening in Washington State. All right, got that. Weather clear up there yet? Is it nice now? Is it starting to get out of the blazing hot Washington State summer times and into a little bit of crispy cool at late July? I recall the last time I'd spent any time in the summer in Washington State. It was July of 2001. And I remember it was one of those kinds of summers where the sun came up early and hot, and it was hot virtually all day long until the sun went down at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, and then it was that kind of heat. But the crazy thing is, if you're out in the sunshine, if you're out just walking around the sunshine, it's hot. But if you step into a shadow, the temperature immediately drops down to like 5.
Yeah, that's that cool marine
that?
layer. Yeah, that's that cool marine layer they have that runs the currents. Same thing for California. That's why in L.A. people love living there, because it can be hot, 10 blocks inland, but all you got to do is go step to the beach and get some of that sea breeze, and it really changes.
Cools off a little bit.
This time of year is actually usually the best weather for Seattle and the Pacific Northwest. They have less weather systems coming.
That's what I'm thinking. All right, Charlotte, find a way. Get some pictures. See if you can send me some pictures on, if you can WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Look, plenty to talk about this morning, and a couple of interesting headlines that we'll go over, and some people that we want to talk to about a variety of things. More to the point, where I was talking I'm looking at a couple of magistrates reports, and there's one, and I don't know if it is mistyping at the magistrate at the cop center or at the attorney general's office, but there's an interesting story about a guy, the way a guy described what he was doing when he got pulled over. I'll see if I can share that with you after I can understand it in a second. 6:31, in time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan.
Tough a day in Good Morning Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 6 law firms will represent Guam in a case against manufacturers of PFAS chemicals that have contaminated Guam's drinking water. Last night, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signed the contract, according to a release from the AG's office. If the case settles before trial, the 6 law firms will work on a contingency fee of just 15%, which is half of the 30% authorized by the law. However, if a trial takes place, the contingency fee will rise by 2.5%. 6 law firms who will represent Guam in the lawsuit have represented about 8 states and territories in environmental litigation in the past. The team also brings expertise that includes acting as lead counsel in the first PFAS exposure case filed back in 1999. Yet another sexual abuse lawsuit filed against the Catholic clergy on island, according to the latest complaint filed by a man using the initials BA to protect his identity. It states that recent media pictures of former priest Louis Brouillard helped him identify the adult Boy Scout leader who sexually abused him during a weekend campout at Talafofo Falls in the early 70s. Complaint is filed against the Boy Scouts of America, the Capuchin Franciscans, alleging that he was sexually abused by Brouillard at a Boy Scout outing. More than 220 sexual abuse lawsuits have now been filed. This lawsuit, like the others, seeks $5 million in damages. There has been a surge in sexual abuse lawsuits filed in recent weeks ahead of the August 15th deadline to make claims against the church. Brandon Michael Acosta, who was accused in the murder and rape of Dededo teen, is set to enter a plea of guilty in a separate 2018 burglary and drug case. Acosta was arrested in that burglary case last year, just a few days after 15-year-old Tamika Jadine Nauta was killed. He appeared in Superior Court yesterday. His defense attorney, Jocelyn Roden, told Judge Anita Sokola that she's waiting for the Attorney General's office to submit a formal plea agreement in the burglary case. Details of that agreement have not been disclosed yet. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Right, 6:33, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect now at 888-8888 and ask them about how you can save some money on your mobile and internet plans.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
No problem. Thinking about lunchtime today, I'll make it easy for you. You pull into the nearest Wendy's. You can dine in or you can hit the drive-thru. And I suggest that one of the things that you asked for this morning or this afternoon or tonight is the Berry Blast chicken salad. Strawberries, blueberries. We've got raspberry vinaigrette that gets drizzled over the top of the thing. And the cool thing is you get to do the drizzling. That's going to be your job. We got the grilled chicken on top of that, and everything gets crowned with a sprinkling of almonds and feta cheese. It really is a fantastic salad. Find it today at Wendy's.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Traffic Gizmo time. Taking an early look at traffic this morning. Anybody hitting the road besides you? Let me see. Don't see too much north or southbound Marine Corps Drive all the way into downtown Dededo. It looks like it's running clear. Also clear Marine Corps Drive all the way right up to the Jolly Bee intersection. Look for a little bit of traffic over by the Kmart intersection. Otherwise, it should be quick moving all the way into the downtown Agutnia area, clear into Adloop. Maybe a little bit of a delay as you get to that intersection, north and southbound. A little bit of traffic over by Polaris point. Not exactly sure what that is. Looks like it's affecting mostly northbound traffic, and maybe it's the early start on the construction down there. And right now looks like a good time to get into Navy Base and, I don't know, do some shopping. Got a note here from baby sister Mona says, can you make a mention, do a shout out to Joanne from the Orodi Commissary down at Big Navy. Says she listens to you every morning and asks about you every time I go to buy groceries. Biggest fan ever. And see, this is a very clear example of how I'm not taking advantage of the fact that my baby sister can go shop on base, because Joanne has to ask after me to my sister, as opposed to me going, Mono, when are we going shopping on the base? I could use some Slim Jims and cheap Mountain Dew or Patriots Pride soda or something like that. But thanks, Joanne. I appreciate you listening out there. And if you could run by the exchange and see if you can get some cool, was it 511 tactical pants, and stick those in the grocery bag. No, not for free. Mono will pay for it. It's 6:36, 6:37 in the morning, and that is right now traffic here on The Point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
6:37 in the morning, and just a FYI, and this will make you feel old, Robert Hayes from the movie Airplane turned 72 years old today. Robert Hayes and I have an interesting connection. We brought him out a couple of times for the grand opening and for the first anniversary of the radio of Hit Radio 100 back in the day. So he's actually been to Guam. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, turned 68 years old today, and remind me later on to use that as a handy excuse to get some pretty pictures of her in the 1970s online. And the lady that I think is going to define 50 for a lot of 40-year-old women is celebrating a birthday today. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, Jenny from the Block, is 50 years old today, and I defy you to find a bad-looking picture of her. Not my favorite musician of all time, not my favorite, but you just got to take a look at her and see the acting that she's done, what she's been able to do with her life, and the way she's been able to hold herself together. So congratulations on holding yourself together all the way to 50. Looking at the Facebook live stream right now, there is an image of sunrise this morning. Michael Knight got out there and took that picture. And I'm sorry, Rambo Knight will interpret what he is seeing in that otherwise pretty picture.
Yeah, just got some nice cumulus clouds, a little sun coming up over them. It was not as spectacular as some pictures I've taken, but I thought it was good to do.
I thought that was a good-looking picture.
Yeah, that one I got yesterday. This is the one it's got virga. You can see, because you can see through the rain. If you can see through it, then it's virga, because it's evaporating before it can hit the ground. So that is actual virga. Right,
and the beginning of some virga that stayed with us through most of the day.
Yeah.
888-8255-888-TALK. The other Governor, Leon Guerrero, Rambo Leon Guerrero, is on the line right now. Good morning, Rambo.
Good morning, Rambo Gibson.
It's always good to hear from you. And just a warning or a note for folks in the Santa Rita area, there's going to be a town hall tonight. It's the other Governor, Leon Guerrero's State of the Island address.
Yes, and we're going to be covering a lot of things that are going to be very impactful on everybody's life. And right now we're on the horns of a dilemma. That being, the legislature seems hell-bent for leather to pass the rollback on the business privilege tax. But we have not seen any effort whatsoever by the governor to roll back the operating expenses. So there's going to be a big crash somewhere in the middle.
I don't know about that. There's new analysis by some that suggests that the government of Guam revenues may actually be $38 million more than was anticipated in previous conversation. Of course, Les Carlson from BBMR told the legislature the amounts reflected in the report are subject to internal audit and analysis, and therefore subject to change. But it does look like there's going to be a little bit of a surplus, $38 million surplus in the revenues of the government of Guam. Naturally, Will Castro in one report says, we need to pay outstanding increments for GovGuam employees. And I'm going, what? The next priority after that was addressing high priority items for law enforcement, health, and education. And guys, that should have been number one. That should have been the first thing that you thought of, not increments for GovGuam employees.
fact that they're holding a job fair for police and security officers tells you where the priorities should have been, not 54 deputy directors reviving new agents, creating new agencies and reviving agencies that were already defunct.
And don't forget
they wouldn't have.
Now the hell-bent desire to hire 150 people to watch the fires as for the military buildup.
Yeah, so it's a question of priorities, and the priorities all are around how many signed waivers and nose pickers can we give a guaranteed paycheck to for the next 4 years, as opposed to doing things like we promised, like fix GMH, install computers in revenue tax so we can actually collect money. I mean, the fact they've hired 2 revenue agents, congratulations. According to testimony, each revenue agent will bring in $4 million a year. There's $200 million outstanding. So rather than hire 50 revenue agents, we hired 54 deputy directors.
Do the math.
Collect anything but a paycheck.
Well, all right. So tonight, what time?
7 o'clock, Santa Rita Senior Citizen Center, and we're going to be going over problems like these because they all affect your pocketbook. And what we don't realize is that we actually have control over how much they take out of our pocketbook if we start using our power. And we're going to talk tonight about how to start using our power.
I'm looking forward to it. Is this going to be, not a lot of people might be able to go because, Thursday night on Guam, prelude to the weekend. Will this be on anywhere live? You're going to have maybe James Howard come by and point a camera at you for Facebook Live or YouTube Live?
I thought about that, but it goes back to bandwidth, and I'm not sure if there's any bandwidth in the Senior Citizen Center. I am required to record it, and I will be posting it on Facebook and our website as well, so you can see it afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's running for 10 days.
Well, just swing by. Maybe somebody else. Let me know what there's got to be somebody that might be able to help you out with that. It just seems to me that this is one of those things. You call Troy. Go find Cousin Troy, and see if he can do the Candid News from down there.
I will give him a call.
He's usually on Facebook Live. He's definitely on Facebook. Dude, I'll talk to you pretty soon. That's Rambo Ken Leon Guerrero with an invite to go hang out with him tonight over at the Senior Citizen Center down in Santa Rita, as I said. The State of the Island address as Ken Leon Guerrero sees it. We get to give you our State of the Island address on a daily basis. What we see here that is interesting, provocative, and sometimes head-scratching. I get to do it in the morning, and Bob Klitsky gets to do it in the afternoon. Sorry, that's Rambo Klitsky, and that almost sounds like it fits. Good morning, Judge Klitsky.
Good morning, Ray.
Always nice to hear from you, and appreciate having the opportunity to spend some time with Auntie Lou down at the parade grounds.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It really was. I thought it was a fantastic time, and you standing at attention most of the time. Every time a flag passed by, that was also riveting.
Okay.
Hey, I saw there was a note that I saw, it was an announcement from the White House calling for the flags to be flown at is it half staff or half mast?
Half staff.
Half staff for then retired Supreme Court Judge John Paul Stevens, and I thought, well, this is an interesting opportunity to get a quick history lesson from somebody that would be in the know. Bob Klitsky would know about John Paul Stevens. Tell me about this guy.
Well, he suitored. He started out as a conservative, but he drifted slowly to the left during the time he was on the Supreme Court. Had a reputation for being very courtly and gentlemanly, unlike Mr. Justice Scalia, one of the justices that I don't hold in high regard. The thing that I remember about Stevens is that he made the remark that the decision he disliked the most that came down during the time he was on the court was Heller versus District of Columbia, the one that said that people have a right to keep a firearm in their house for their personal protection. He said that was the worst decision that came about during his time on the court.
Interesting stuff. How long did he sit?
35 years, I think. He was the second longest serving justice, or was it third? Marshall, Douglas had served longer than Stevens.
Interesting. It had a kind of an interesting career in the war, didn't he? He was a World War II vet.
Yeah, an intelligence officer, and came from very rich parents. His parents owned the Stevens Hotel in Chicago, which became famous in 1938 because it's where my mother and father spent their honeymoon.
Oh, that's why it's famous.
All 2 days of it, back in March of 1938. And at the time, and for a long time, it was the largest hotel in the world.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so they were very rich. However, they ran upon some bad times in the 20s, and they were accused of, the family was, a couple of members of the family were accused of crimes. They were prosecuted. They lost the hotel. They lost everything. And Stevens attributes some of his dedication to victims or to the rights of criminals to that experience that he had, that his parent family had with that situation.
Interesting character and a story told by Bob Klitschko, also an interesting character. Did you make it to the town hall last night?
I did not.
I'll see if I can get you some paperwork on that and see some of the things that they talked about. Guam Daily Post says a lot of the concerns, educating migrants before they arrive, stray dogs, and speeding cars. And it seems to me that some of these things that they're complaining about are things that, you know, that should automatically be taken care of. There should not be concerns about litter in the village. There should not be concerns about stray dogs and speeding cars. It seems to me that those are some of the givens that the government's supposed to take care of.
Well, I have opined as such on Tall Tales that we need to work with the President of the Federated States and the Governor of Chuuk and talk to them about, I don't know if their Constitution would allow this, but perhaps they could interdict traffic on their end with exit permits and make a certain orientation course a condition precedent to the issuance of any exit permit.
Yeah. They've had the opportunity to do that for about the last 25 years and haven't taken it up.
If you've ever been to the Federated States, you know the roads aren't that good. Traffic is pretty slow, and you know you could probably walk down the street blindfolded and be relatively safe.
Yeah.
Not like on Guam where we move right along and we don't have much truck with pedestrians. So
the roads were built for cars, and that's the way it's always been. 6:48 in the morning. I just wanted to also let you know about the fan club that you have with the Marines and the folks over at Joint Region. They've actually got a WhatsApp chat so that they all keep track of what it is that you're talking about.
Well,
and apparently they given a hard time to the SHPO yesterday was a big topic.
Okay, well. I guess if one had to pick his audience, and of course one doesn't get the opportunity to do that, but you couldn't ask for a better audience than a group of Marines.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Bob Klitschko, you'll hear him this afternoon on the Tall Tales program right here on 93.3 The Point. Wanted to get into another conversation. Speaking of Marines, Clint Rigel sent out a press release yesterday. I thought it was kind of an interesting one and something that I had not been following with regard to the buildup and the construction on the firing range. And this is just another one of those topics that I thought that I didn't know about until the press release went out yesterday from Clint Rigel's office talking about the guys over at the FAA who have told now the Marines that their request to make that a no-fly zone has been denied. Good morning, Clint.
Hi, morning.
So how did that get on your radar?
Hello. Sorry, for some reason you're not coming in very loud and clear. It sounds muffled on my end.
Muffled? Well, go ahead. I'll repeat the question. Maybe it's muffled in my ears too. The question is, how did the no-fly zone deal get on your radar? That's kind of interesting that popped up.
Sure. Yeah. Well, basically, what happened was with the FAA sends out these notices, and we somehow, my office got wind of the notice. I'm not sure exactly how we got wind of it. I know my chief of staff alerted me to it, and I don't remember if someone else had alerted us to it first, because there's numerous notices that we've made comments on, so I can't remember exactly how we found out about this one. But we were able to catch this as a notice, and so it was basically a notice put out by the FAA about a request to restrict airspace for like a special designation of restricted airspace over the small arms firing range up at the Northwest Field area.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they would not that they would deny it, number one, but that a request would have been made for something like that. That's not typical, is it?
Apparently not. And I wasn't sure. I'm not, a range expert or anything like that. It just looked like something questionable to me, so I questioned it in my comments. I asked basically, is this necessary? And so the response was basically no, it's not necessary, and that they don't actually issue these kinds of permits for any small arms ranges.
Sure.
And they pointed out that the U.S. Marine Corps has numerous small arms ranges around the U.S. that don't have this permit because it's not really I'm not sure if permit's the correct term, this designation for this restricted airspace, because it's not something the FAA gives for small arms ranges.
Because if they did, it's virtually impossible to fly an airplane over most places in the United States.
Exactly.
There's lots of firing ranges in it. There's a lot of firing ranges in this town. We couldn't fly an airplane over PD. You wouldn't be able to fly one over the one that the Navy has. And you remember the kerfuffle on that one just a couple of months ago. Yeah, so they make it that much more difficult. All the different gun clubs that they've got across the country. So I thought it was very interesting that came out. But you also had a couple of I thought, provocative statements about that, and maybe an attempt to overreach.
Yeah, no, I was just drawing the conclusion that this is an example. This is a prime example of something that they're asking for more than they need. They're asking for something that no other place gets. So I'm asking, why Guam? Why do they ask for these types of things here? And these are the type of questions we've raised, similar questions with many other things that they've requested with relation to the buildup. So that's why I said we all should keep a watchful eye and question things. And I think that's a part of being American, actually, is questioning things. That's part of this democracy, is the ability of people to be able to question decisions made by the government. And so this is a prime example of that we need to keep an eye on them. And whenever something looks like it might be questionable or might be wrong to us, we should exercise our right and comment and question, just as my office had done. And it turns out we were right in thinking something was wrong with this request, because ultimately the FAA denied the request. And not only did they deny the request, they said this isn't even a request we grant anyone. So that also makes me question it further. In addition, in the FAA's own documents, I believe it's in their notice, they gave some background information. There's a section on background, and in the background they explained that they've been in discussions with a DoD working group that DoD put together, and FAA have been in discussions about airspace over the Marianas since 2007. And as part of those ongoing discussions, that's when DoD came back with this proposal. It's called the SUA. I forget what SUA stands for. It's an acronym. They came back with a proposed SUA that included designating this area as a restricted airspace. So my question is, if they've been in consultation with one another since 2007, at any point in time, did the FAA say something along the lines of, oh, no, we don't grant that kind of thing for small arms range? It just seems to me like DoD and the Marine Corps should have known that this is something they don't grant to small arms ranges.
Yeah, it should have come up in a prior conversation. Well,
other small arms.
Yeah, I can understand asking, and maybe, and risking a no, but maybe getting a yes. So I understand the logic that might have gone into it. I've asked my counterparts over on the Marine side for a comment. We'll see if I can get one of those before the end of the day. I don't have a problem with you asking. Frankly, I'm also kind of curious if, speaking of other people that we are curious about their actions on, were you able to get anything further on the number of confiscations and investigations of goods that are brought in that might be running counter to rules and regulations with the Federal Food and Drug Administration?
Are you talking about the?
Well, the confiscations of the CBD. That was one of the questions that we wanted to get answered. Was well, we're glad that you're looking out for chapter and verse from the Food and Drug Administration on the proper labeling of CBD oils and gummy bears and lotions. But when have you done that in the past? When have you confiscated? When have you investigated allegations that something is coming in that might be flying under the FDA's radar?
Yeah, I haven't heard any update on that. I don't know. Just from the last thing they said at the hearing was that at the hearing they basically said they wouldn't be looking for that kind of thing anymore. So, well, essentially that they would do it on a case-by-case basis as far as public health is concerned, and that they would take pictures of products as they come in and then send it to FDA and see if the labeling looks okay. And basically if the FDA doesn't say it's anything wrong with it, and they'll just leave it on the shelf. That's kind of where that was left off at.
Yeah, okay, I can see this. Yeah. I see it happening. It's the big priority. Take pictures of bottles of CBD. Got to be a better way to use the money.
They admitted that the FDA might not respond at all.
Exactly. So why bother? Why bother with it? Just let the market decide. Bring in these products, and like anything else, if it fails to meet with the expectations of the customers will tell the other customers, and people will just not buy it, and then they won't have to worry about importing anymore. 6:57 in the morning. Clint, what are you doing today?
Well, I'm heading off to a meeting this morning, and I've got a bunch of other things I'm working on. My meeting this morning, I'll share about that later, I guess, after the meeting's done.
What? No way.
Okay, sure. I'm going to have breakfast with the former president of the FSM, Emmanuel Mori.
Hey, how about that?
It's nothing official business. It's just a friendly meeting. He's been wanting to meet with me since I got elected, and he's been wanting to congratulate me since I got elected. So it's just a friendly breakfast meeting I'm having with the former FSM president, Emmanuel Mori.
So call him, tell him Ray Gibson said, "Hi, Rambo."
His name's not Rambo.
No, everybody's name is Rambo. Octopus Pui came out and said his real name is Rambo Milk, and he's not the only Rambo that we got running around. I got to imagine that out in some of these islands, Rambo's got to be the most popular name there is. So
Rambo is a popular name.
See?
So my dad tells me. My dad was in Chuk in the 70s, and he said back then Bruce Lee was a popular name. So of course people are naming kids after some of their favorite, movie stars, action heroes. And so Rambo was a popular one. So there are a lot of people named Rambo. Now, I still question the last name Milk. I have a feeling that's not his real last name because I've never heard that as a last name before. So I'm wondering if even that's a false last name. And so if he doesn't have any documentation or anything, then he can just tell the court my real name's Rambo Milk, and then it might take a while for the court to figure out that's not even his last name.
Yeah, well,
when I saw all the names, the Octopus Pui and Octopus Pew Pew, and then the different, I just knew. I was like, this guy's just making all these names up. Yep.
It's entertaining, but it's also it also, I suppose, is it could be kind of off-putting if you think about it. We should know who we're dealing with as they're coming in here trying to make a living and not make trouble on Guam. We'll save that for another conversation.
Absolutely.
We'll save it.
I did want to find out more about this guy because I'm wondering if this guy's homeless. And so sometimes the homeless do end up completely without documentation. They may have come here with documents, they lost all the documents, and then they end up on the street just homeless, or they left their documents behind in whatever home they were staying in. Because most come here, have a place to stay.
And then things happen. Hey, I got to break away. Clint. We'll talk again pretty soon. All right, my friend, have a fantastic time and a great breakfast. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG at Ganya.
President calls it nonsense. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Trump not mincing words when it comes to former special counsel Robert Mueller's testimony today about his Russian election meddling probe before two House committees, saying that investigation created a phony cloud over his administration.
There was no defense to this ridiculous hoax, this witch hunt that's been going on for a long time.
At this afternoon's hearing, House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff asked if Mueller's investigation was a witch hunt.
And when Donald Trump called your investigation a witch hunt, that was also false, was it not?
I'd like to think so, yes.
Well, your investigation is not a witch hunt, is it?
It is not a witch hunt.
Republicans work to show the investigation's genesis was based on improper and political reasons. Democrats hope to get answers about potential obstruction of justice by the president commenting before flying to West Virginia for a fundraiser. A federal judge siding with the president's new asylum rules.
Last week, the Trump administration announced that migrants who want to apply for asylum here must first apply for asylum in a country they arrive in or travel to before getting to the U.S. Two refugee and immigration groups sued, arguing before Judge Timothy Kelly that their groups would be harmed by such a rule, that they would be limited in helping migrants who seek asylum. Judge Kelly, a Trump appointee, ruled against them, denying a temporary restraining order to stop the rule change, finding it would not get in the way of their work. Another federal judge in San Francisco is today hearing a separate lawsuit on the matter filed by the ACLU and Southern Poverty Law Center.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Britain has a new prime minister. Boris Johnson today installed as the UK's new political leader after a ceremony with Queen Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace. Johnson vowing to break the impasse over the UK's departure from the European Union. This is Fox News.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Viva Guam! As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly half-a-day service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Facebook hit with a $5 billion fine by the Federal Trade Commission for its mishandling of users' personal information. It's the largest such fine by the FTC against a tech company. A federal judge today blocking Arkansas's new abortion restrictions.
U.S. District Judge Christine Baker granting a 14-day temporary restraining order for Arkansas's 3 new abortion bans, including a measure that would make abortions illegal after 18 weeks, prohibit abortions based on the diagnosis of Down syndrome in a fetus, and require abortions to only be performed by a board-certified or board-eligible OBGYN, which ACLU and Planned Parenthood attorney Bettina Brownstein says.
Will, in all likelihood, shut down most of the legal abortions in Arkansas.
Another law not being challenged in Arkansas that takes effect increases the abortion waiting period to 72 hours. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A recall linked to a rare cancer.
The Food and Drug Administration requesting Allergen recall textured breast implants linked to an unusual cancer of the immune system, anaplastic large cell lymphoma. The FDA saying there have been nearly 600 cases worldwide, 481 of them clearly attributed to allergen implants. Of the 13 cases where the type of implant was known, all but one involved an implant made by allergen. The recalled devices are BioCell products like Natrel saline-filled breast implants. The FDA saying women without symptoms do not need the implants removed. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
A number of companies are trying to make it easier to get items purchased online. United Parcel Service is looking to add about 12,000 new spots where customers can pick up packages, including at CVS, Michael's, and Advance Auto Parts stores. UPS says it'll also look into increasing the use of drones, and starting next year, it will offer pickup and delivery services 7 days a week. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE. the smarter choice.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hafa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll.
Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The governor's office has announced the release of $32.8 million in Medicaid payments from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The vast majority of that money went to Guam Regional Medical City and just 3% to Guam Memorial Hospital. A flood of Medicaid funds from CMS follows passage of federal legislation last month allowing 100% reimbursement from Guam's remaining Obamacare funds without the need to put up any matching funds locally. In all, Guam Regional Medical City got $25.8 million in reimbursements for the care it has provided to its Medicaid patients. However, the financially struggling GMH got just $855,000. Governor's office explained that GRMC has been waiting for Medicaid reimbursements for years. GMH Chief Executive Officer Lillian Perez Posadas telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that the $855,000 they got was in addition to another $500,000 received from CMS earlier this month. Posadas said she does not think that GMH is behind in filing claims for Medicaid reimbursements, but she would check on that. In a release yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero called the additional Medicaid funding a welcome reprieve and the result of all our efforts to make our case before the federal government. Rose Hermoso told a legislative committee yesterday that she was dismayed to learn that a University of Guam professor who she alleged raped her 10 years ago was not on the sex offender registry list when she returned to the island last September. Hermoso testified during a public hearing yesterday on Senator Amanda Shelton's Bill number 157, which would require convicted sex offenders to register on the sex offender registry website, even if their cases are under appeal. I am here as a victim turned survivor, said Hermoso. Senator Shelton said her bill would close the loophole in the current law. She introduced it in June after the Guam Supreme Court upheld the October 2017 criminal sexual conduct conviction of former University of Guam professor Michael Ellert. Ellert was not required to register as a sex offender until after the decision upholding his conviction. He has now registered, and he began serving his 18-month prison sentence in June. Let's close that loophole, said Hermoso, who did not mention Ellert by name during her testimony. We'll have more news after this.
The half-gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half-gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igoma'mu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. 6 law firms will represent Guam in a case against manufacturers of PFAS chemicals that have contaminated Guam's drinking water. Last night, Governor Lulian Guerrero signed the contract, according to a release from the Attorney General's office. If the case settles before trial, the 6 law firms will work on a contingency fee of 15%, which is half of the 30% allowed for by law. However, if a trial does take place, the contingency fee will rise by 2.5%. The 6 law firms who will represent Guam in the lawsuit have represented about 8 states and territories in other environmental litigation. The team also brings expertise that includes acting as lead counsel in the first PFAS exposure cases filed back in 1999. Yet another sexual abuse lawsuit filed against the Catholic clergy on Guam, according to the latest complaint filed by a man using the initials BA to protect his identity. It states that recent media pictures of the late Louis Brouillard helped him identify the adult Boy Scout leader who sexually abused him, he said, during a weekend campout at Talifofo Falls back in the early 1970s. The complaint was filed against the Boy Scouts of America, the Capuchin Franciscans, alleging he was sexually abused by Brouillard at a Boy Scout outing when he was 11 years old. More than 220 sexual abuse lawsuits have now been filed. This lawsuit, like the others, seeks $5 million in damages. There has been a surge in sexual abuse lawsuits filed ahead of the August 15th deadline to file claims. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at the weather.
Thanks, Kevin. Partly sunny today with isolated showers, light and variable winds. We can expect those to become northeast around 10 miles an hour this afternoon. Highs about 89 degrees and overnight lows should be about 79 degrees. We'll take a look at the weather radar in just a second. I want to let you know the sunset tonight about 6:50, so a little less day is what we are talking about today. Michael can explain. I'm sorry, Rambo from the Point's Weather Center can explain what that's all about.
Yeah, this time of year we actually lose more daylight per day than any other time of year. I've lost 2 minutes from yesterday to today. That'll continue until we hit the winter solstice down in I'm sorry, we got a whole lot. Well, it actually will until we hit the winter solstice in December. So
right.
There we go. Radar showing a few showers way off to the west. Actually, a pretty good complex of stuff moving away from us. And here recently, in just the past hour or so, we've had a very small line of showers develop over Guam and just to our east. That's kind of moving from northeast to southwest right across the island. So chances are, on your way to work in the next hour, you may see a shower or two. Looking at satellite, no major weather systems in our area really to affect us. We do have 91W Invest, which is far to the north-northwest. It's moving away. Blobbage off to the east may get dragged this way by an upper-level low that is off to our northeast, and it may be tracking west. As it does, it'll pull some of that moisture across. But before that happens, we're actually going to get a drying out of the mid and upper levels. So this afternoon might actually see less shower activity, certainly less than yesterday. But with the light winds and the fact that it's going to be more sunshine and things are going to warm up, our chances for thunderstorms might actually be a little higher today.
It's going to be at that weird time of year where you can be sitting on the beach getting grill marks, and then you look to the south around the mountains and you start to see those dark clouds start to loom over you. So I think, and that might be the case today. Like I said, I'm looking forward to an opportunity later on maybe to get some grill marks. So there is the possibility that might be the case today.
Yeah, today actually might be the best day out of the next 2 or 3 to get those.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, all right. And as you say, because we've got this blobbage that could be pushing in from the east.
That's right. And the funny thing is this time of year, blobbage, it'll pop up, it'll go away, and then more will pop up. So it's almost difficult to forecast when it's actually going to.
The thing is, you're talking to old Pacific hands around here, and anytime there's blobbage to the east of us at this time of year, kind of gets everybody's attention. You start wondering where the shutter clips are, and when was the last time where's the bucket that we used to flush with? Are some of the questions that, as I said, the old Pacific hands will ask. 7:14 in the morning. That's news. And plenty of weather together right here on The Point.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fun and Mall Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
I don't know where they are either. 7:15 in the morning. Portions of the broadcast made possible by American President Lines. We're talking about a global presence with a local home, Micronesia Renewable Energy. And they've got these battery systems now. I call them battery systems, not solar systems, because it's the battery part in my mind that's very cool, because it means that you can keep the electric lights on even after the Guam Power Authority has gone to sleep in your area. They're powered by the sun, by the way. You want details, call Micronesia Renewable Energy a little bit later on. It is the summer of Jeep at Cars Plus in Mighty. We've got the Cherokee, the Compass, the Grand Cherokee, and, of course, the Wrangler, 1.99% APR with your good credit. Check it out today and do a test drive. Won't cost you anything. Just swing by and take a look at the Wranglers that they've got at Cars Plus, as I say, over the summer of Jeep. 2 endless garden bars. That's a Tuesday special I'm going to tell you about. Now, I'm going to save that for next Tuesday. Best starters, lunch and dinners, price to please on a brand new Ruby Tuesdays favorites menu, dips and wings, burgers and tacos, steaks and salmon with toppers and more, available for a limited time at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7:16, the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. And today, everybody is Rambo. But one of the other things that we want to talk... one of the... We got to get this one in here. We were talking about happy birthday to a titan of industry here on Guam, former governor Paul M. Calvo is celebrating a birthday today. That's according to somebody rolling around on the Facebook Live, Lillian Cruz, saying so, as a matter of fact. I appreciate you putting that in there. I thought I saw something on Facebook from the family wishing him a happy birthday, but I wasn't sure whether that referred to today or not. That's awesome. And still love seeing Uncle Paul. And every time I do, I say, Uncle Paul, say it. And they look at me, okay, one more time, Raymond. It's a Payless thing. I love it when he does that. And I saw some pictures of him and the family as they were walking around the all-new Payless that they're opening up on Route 8 right next to Benson. Oh yeah. That's I'm referring to that as the Ray Gibson branch of the Payless market, because that is, if I didn't live at the bottom of a hill leading to there, it would be literally within walking distance. I would be able to walk out the front door and go, I think as the crow flies, maybe a tenth of a mile, and be at the front doors of Payless. I'm going to ask them if they could put a back door there for me.
So what does it look like inside?
I haven't been inside. I mean, I just saw a couple of the pictures, and just bare walls, and you can see some of the paint job that they're doing. Mm-hmm. But if you're coming up and down that new road, that new section of just before you get to Route 8 in Teagan, you can now see the top of the building and everything that they've been doing. And last time I saw my cousin Mike, he said that they were probably going to have that thing open by the end of August. So it's not much time left between now and then Route 8 will be about the most perfect place in the world.
Yeah,
with the Payless there. There's a KFC there. There's a McDonald's there, and there's a Subway down the street. You will not go hungry at up and down that road.
Yeah, and and that's going to become grocery store central.
And it'll be a 24-hour a day Payless.
Yeah, and there's another one that's being built down by the Shell. Mm-hmm. There's someone's putting up a grocery store there.
Yes, yeah, that's I forget which one it is.
I don't know what it is either. But within,
it's not San Jose, because I already got one down there.
Within half a mile, you're going to have everything you want in terms of grocery.
It's and an infusion. There'll be a coffee place in there. So yeah, the world is turning in exactly the right direction up on Route 8.
Someone told me, it must have been about 15 years ago, invest in property in Mighty, because that's where people are going to be going. Well, I don't know about that.
Didn't it feel like everybody was leaving Mighty at the time?
And there you go. Here it is.
And look at the only reason. Well, we had there was an actual naval air station up in on Route 8 for a long, long time. They shut that thing down in about 1995, and you figure from there, why would anybody want to build anything? The big market for customers was gone. And so nobody was looking at Route 8 anymore, unless you start talking to guys in the real estate game, and they say, yeah, you know, there's hot properties out there. People want to live in Mongmong Totomaiti. They want to live out in Ledzang. They want to live in Kenyatta. They want to live kind of in that area because it's in the middle of the island.
And if you want to buy a house in that area, time to buy is now.
Yes.
Because it's only going to get more expensive, but the more things they add up there.
Yeah. I sometimes wish I'd have held on to that little piece of property that I had down in Kenyatta.
Yeah.
And not necessarily for the real estate value, but the mango tree that I planted finally bloomed. is the thing. I got another one going in the ground pretty soon. If I'm lucky, I'll live to eat the first. I'll live to eat the first mango that comes off at 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, there's a nice way to get the broadcast started and talking about stuff here this morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio, but before we get to him and the extra point, we do need to take a look at how the markets did. When I last looked at it, there was a little bit of a mixed closing on the market. Yeah, and it stayed like that. S&P 500 is in the green by about 14 points, closing at 3,019. NASDAQ at 8321. They're up by 70 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average up by about 80 points. Boeing is a big component of the Dow, and their numbers aren't looking good today. So Dow Jones Industrial Average coming back a little bit, 27,269.97. For me, that would be a pretty, depending on where Boeing is right now, might be a pretty good time to start looking at that and saying, you know what, there could be a bargain if that's just a little problem with the earnings. But, you know, it probably has to, what is it, 737 MAX planes that they've had problems with. My guess is that is a big problem, but Boeing's always solved their problems. That's the thing about that company. 7:21 in the morning. Other numbers we'll look at. Bitcoin.
Yeah, I got another nearly $1,500 swing in Bitcoin this week. Peaked at just over 11,000 last Saturday. Now down to $9,625.
And Tapas continues its rise. $67 is where Tapas is today. West Texas crude at $55.88. That's down by a hair. So those are all the numbers that we generally look at in the business time report. Anything you got that you wanted to report, Mr. Jerry Roberts?
No, but if the 737 Maxes are put back in service, every seat should come with a parachute, at least for a while.
Well, you know, they got the not necessarily the parachute, but we do have that groovy vest that you can get on the airplane in case of a water landing that every once in a while they'll make.
I don't ever want to be involved in a water landing.
888-825-5888-TALK. It's 7:22. What's on Jerry Roberts' agenda for the extra point? Let's find out. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Too many managers and their team members are losing out on one of the most potentially valuable experiences available in the workplace today. It's time to talk about the beauty and the power of the one-to-one meeting. And that's next on The Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
I've been a promoter of one-to-one meetings for years, stressing their importance in every organization I have the privilege to work with. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to give you the reasons why you should make one-to-ones a key part of your management strategy. I'm also going to give you a format for getting the most value for the time spent. Before I start rolling on this, let me address those who say, I don't have time. The majority of the busiest and most successful managers in the world do it. If they can make time, we can make time. Okay, Mr. or Miss Manager, here we go with why to hold one-on-one meetings with your team. 7 reasons. Number 1, you develop a stronger relationship with the worker. This is important for every generation in the workforce today, but critical for millennials and Generation Z employees. The more contact they have with their manager, the more trust will be established. Number 2, workers want and need the connection with their supervisor. It gives their job added meaning and anchors their position in the organization. Managers are an employee's lifeline to the organization, and one-on-one meetings strengthen that lifeline. 3, you want to influence every worker's productivity and engagement. Meeting with them on a regular basis, even for as little as 20 or 30 minutes, is your best tool for doing it. 4, the worker can share ideas and you can help develop them. You can show appreciation for their efforts and, as needed, give feedback on their performance. When that feedback includes correction, the better the relationship, the better the worker will accept the feedback. Number 5, you can discuss performance issues without waiting until it's time for the annual review. In fact, one-on-one meetings can be instrumental in helping skyrocket performance. Annual reviews are almost a universal waste of time and money. By incorporating an effective strategy with one-on-one meetings, you can actually accomplish what annual or semi-annual reviews were supposed to do for organizations, but never have. 6, these regular meetings will enable you to stay on top of potential problems and to deal with them before they become serious. You'll have a clear picture of the mood of your team. And number 7, your team will develop a greater sense of loyalty. So, you still don't have time? Oh, you do the meetings. If you were confident of the results, tomorrow I'll have a format for success, plus the best approach for both the manager and the worker. And I think you're going to like what you hear. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First to Wine Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Yeah, actually, your name today is Rambo Roberts. It's Rambo Roberts. No? The guy they arrested a couple of days ago is what's it? Octopus Pui Pui turns out to not, imagine this, be his real name.
Really?
Yes, it was an alias.
Oh no!
They just messing with the police here. Told him his name was Octopus Pui Pui. Can you imagine that?
I'm so surprised.
Absolutely. His real name, as it turns out, is Rambo Milk, and this is something I actually did a little bit of research on because I recognized after reading a bunch of magistrate reports that there's a lot of people named Rambo that are causing trouble. And I said, is it one guy? And it wasn't, as it turns out. I went back through a few years worth of magistrate reports, and there must have been about 5 or 6 or 7 different guys, first named Rambo, getting in all kinds of trouble, running in the face of the law.
You know, one of the more popular names for women is like Jennifer. Are there certain places on Earth where Rambo is one of the more popular names for guys?
As it turns out,
what you doing?
It's a thing. So we've decided that today everybody can have an alias, and we're all going to be Rambo. I'm Rambo Ray, and there's Rambo Mike and Rambo Kevin Kerrigan over there, and that's just the way it's going to be today.
I will adjust my attitude accordingly today.
I appreciate that, and I'm often pointing people in the direction of Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point in the Work Zone, which is his column in the Guam Daily Post. He's not in there today, but Ron McNinch is in there talking about mushroom committees and mushroom boards on the island. But he also tells a story of the shuttle Challenger explosion. And how there had been protocols that had been put in place. And there were people that got up and said what they thought but were ignored. And as a result of that, the Challenger exploded. People died, and it changed, I think, what it brought on some changes, necessary changes at NASA. Do you ever riff on that as well? Do you ever think about that as ways where people either need to stand on their rock a little bit more, just a little bit more, using your phraseology?
Yeah, I had those guys on the radio just before they went up.
Oh,
when they visited Guam, and I remember they even alluded to the fact that if anything were to happen, I mean, they went down that road and talked about it. I mean, it was just haunting because that was actually on the air. They were kind of talking about what would happen in case of an emergency. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are very timid in the workplace. They don't want to stand up if they see something. And the thing about it is, and goes back to, who might I think? Elon Musk has talked about it. And he has his problems. But one of the things he had said last year is that, because he's involved with the space issue now, SpaceX, I think it is, right? And he was saying one of the...
Space Force, we're bringing that to Guam, bit.
Yeah. Well, when one of them had exploded or had a problem on launch, they traced it back to something that someone had actually knew about but didn't bring forward, right? And he said, look, from here on in, if you have any feeling whatsoever that there's a problem, I want to know about it. Don't hold it back.
Can't fix it if you don't tell me.
The thing you don't talk about is the thing that could be the problem.
Gotcha.
So, yes, absolutely. If you are in a situation, you're not sure how your manager will take something, but you know something is wrong, just stand up say what you have to say.
Yep.
Most of the time, hopefully all of the time, it's going to be appreciated and acted upon.
There are times, and unfortunately, every good manager will know maybe that's a sign that they need to do more of those one-on-ones that you were talking about earlier, so that people are less timid about bringing problems to you.
Absolutely.
All right, 7:30 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. If you like the way that kind of sounds, we do it every morning about this time in the businessy portion of the program. Jerry Roberts' Extra Points, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. Right now, headlines from the Guam Daily Post and Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Federal Aviation Commission has denied a request from the Marine Corps to declare a restricted airspace zone rising 4,900 feet over the live fire training range complex being built on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base. The U.S. Marine Corps asked the FAA to declare a restricted zone over the firing range complex in order to contain vertical hazards associated with the firing range. However, following their review of the proposal and the comments submitted by those who responded to it, the FAA concluded that the Marine Corps has numerous live fire ranges without the need for a restricted fly zone above them, and they can complete their mission on Guam safely and effectively without one. Senator Clint Rigel was among those who submitted a comment on the proposed restricted airspace. He asked whether any commercial flights from Guam would be affected by the declaration and wondered why it was necessary to restrict airspace for small arms fire. In a release yesterday, Senator Rigel called the Marines' request for restricted airspace an example of how the Department of Defense asks to restrict more space than it needs. 6 law firms will represent Guam in a case against manufacturers of PFAS chemicals that have contaminated Guam's drinking water. Last night, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signed the contract, according to a release from the Attorney General's office. If the case settles before trial, the 6 law firms will work on a contingency fee of 15%, which is half of the 30% allowed by law. However, if a trial does take place, the contingency fee will rise by 2.5%. 6 law firms who will represent Guam in the lawsuit have represented about 8 other states and territories in environmental litigation in the past. The team also brings expertise that includes acting as lead counsel in the first PFAS exposure case back in 1999. 34-year-old Octopus Pui Pui made his first appearance in Superior Court yesterday on allegations of urinating in public. According to the magistrate report, Pui Pui was observed urinating last Saturday afternoon on Happy Landing Road in Tamuning. An officer approached, identified himself, but Pui Pui ignored him and continued urinating. He was arrested following a struggle. Pui Pui, also known as Rambo Milk and by other names, was charged with indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan asked him about the other names that he uses, and Pui Pui, through a Chuukese interpreter, told the judge, "Rambo Milk is my real name. Those other names I made up." Pui Pui pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. He's due back in court on August 1st. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Hey, there's Kevin Kerrigan at 7:33, and that's iConnect time. Give them a ring, 888-888. 888-888. Just keep pressing that button until somebody answers, and then ask them a question that they can answer easily, like how you want to save me money on my mobile and internet plans at iConnect.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
It's 7:34 here on Guam. 7:30 or so Eastern Standard Time in the United States is the anticipated time of the vote on the measure that has been introduced into the House by Congressman Michael San Nicolas, and that is the one that would close the loophole on the funding for the War Claims Act. I got word from Sahara Defensor just a little bit ago. They had expected expected it a little bit earlier. Again, pushed off to about 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I do have a link. I will try to bring you that vote live as it happens.
Congressman Rambo, San Nicolas.
It's 7:34, and swing by, would you? The IHOP that we've got here in Tamuning, they're celebrating 4 years, and they're offering new and improved menu selections at a price you can afford. New Ama Littles. You know, this would be good. You get the Ama Littles and a cold glass of Rambo milk. Smaller in size, but big in value. Enjoy the same omelette goodness you've come to love at IHOP for less than $10. All day, any day. Available only in Tamuning.
You know, that was the same line they used for Rambo milk. Smaller in size, but bigger in value.
Hit it.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Oh, traffic gizmo. I'm sorry, I forgot to recharge the traffic gizmo. Let me just take a quick look and see if there's anything happening on the roadways that you need to know about right now or anything that's going to slow you down. Don't see a whole lot, in the general traffic gizmo picture of any major problems, any distortions in the force here. It does look like there's a little bit of a slowdown, obviously, getting into and out of Big Navy and the intersection over by the Pizza Hut Taco Bell that we've got there. Heading up Marine Corps Drive, shouldn't see too many problems until about the downtown Hagutnya area. People wanting to make that turn from Marine Corps Drive onto Route 4 and then into the rest of Hagutnya. Expect some delays at the intersections. Expect some delays at the intersection where the old Rainbow Market used to be. That way there is a little bit blocked northbound because we got a lot of traffic waiting at that light. Also, southbound traffic trying to get onto Route 8 from Marine Corps Drive, backed up and busy over by Cars Plus. The other intersections are all look like they're working today, but you will see some delays at 10 and 15, 8, 10, and 16, and Marine Corps Drive and Route 1 over by the Micronesia Mall, what I like to call the Jolly Bee intersection. Northbound, it's all looking good up in the Dededo area. A little bit of a slowdown over Waisangsong, but what else is new? 737, that's right now traffic on the point.
Worry less and stay connected when traveling for business. With Docomo Pacific's Data to Go, you can use your local data abroad, whether you're accessing emails, surfing the web, or just keeping in contact with your family and friends. For just $10 a day on any postpaid plan, you can get access to any of our 17 Data to Go destinations. Don't wait. Call 688-2677 or email businesssales@DocomoPacific.com to make sure your account is Data to Go ready. You plus Docomo Pacific, better together.
I'm lazy to get a haircut. I've been pondering it, starting to grow up a little bit in the back here, and the pondering that's going through my head has got. It feels like midlife crisis, doesn't it? A year ago, if you'd have said that I'd be sporting a beard, I'd go, "You're crazy, you're out of your mind." But look, I got a beard and a mustache, and now I'm looking at the hair in the back, and I'm jealous of Michael Knight, who's got lots of back hair going on there. What? See, now, never take your headphones off. You take the headphones off, I bring you into the conversation.
And, I was thinking as I was in the shower today, I was like, man, I'm really getting tired of this hair. Maybe there's somebody who is a haircut specialist here that would like to come on the show live and cut it down so that I can donate it to cancer wigs.
I don't know if your hair's long enough for locks. Is it long enough for locks of love?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, you know what? That is actually doable. I know lots of people with hair and hairdressing experience, and we could find them and call for some kind of emergency and say Michael Knight desperately needs to cut his hair.
Like
now
intervention.
Is there a particular hairstyle that
I'll probably go with a flat top that way so they can cut it down short as they need to,
right?
And that cut it down to about an inch, and then they can give me. I like it high and tight, so number one's on the sides and then a little bit left on top. That's
interesting.
How I like my flat top.
All right. You would look completely different. You would
I absolutely do.
You'd do that and then shave the beard, and you can start going to strip joints again.
No, actually, people tell me that when I go with the flat top, I look very intimidating.
Somebody says, grow the hair for a man bun. Yeah.
I can do
Yeah,
that, but I would never wear a man bun.
Yeah, the whole midlife crisis-y thing, I don't think will extend to man bun.
If you come in with a man bun, you will be producing the
Producer,
program by yourself.
yeah, I got it. 888-825-5888-TALK. Online, who's playing around? Techor is messing with the Facebook Live. I see Ike Iseki there. Richard Leon is on. Lori Quintanilla good. Cousin James Martinez is there. Sam Beanie, when we going diving again? Is the old man back in town yet? Bruce Dinsman is there. Sylvan Tudela is hanging out on Facebook Live. My friend Marvel Rodriguez Anderson is online, and among the things that Marvel is responsible for is for putting up some of the signage that you'll see at the 76 gas stations. You know, some of those quotes, some of them very motivational quotes, and some of them very emotional quotes. If you pass by there, there one the other day, and my nephew RD looked at it, and he's asking himself the question is, who hurt you? 76? Who? You see some of those quotes they put up there, like you can tell somebody's been sitting around eating Oreos and ice cream right from the container and listening to love songs. Melinda Sanchez is on. Hey, Mindy, nice to see you. Chilarna Loran is there. I got Pam Duvall talking about Rambo Duke. She sent me a thing. I might read a little bit of that for you in a couple of minutes. Who else is on? Ron and Cindy De La Rosa, Sandra De Leon Guerrero, and it's become a habit, hasn't it? Wherever you happen to be, you want to find out what's going on Guam. You check out The Point online. You get all the big news. Get to hear about Rambo and Octopus Pui Pui and all of the crazy things that are going on here on Guam. And I try to deliver it all with a little bit of a smile. I see Joe Cruz is online. That is the real Joe Cruz. Debbie Wise and Kevin, as in Rambo Kevin Kerrigan, truly is a professional. Does he do stand-up comedy? He was masterful in not cracking up while reading the Octopus/Rambo story. You're absolutely right. He is a delight to work with and a consummate broadcast professional. I count my lucky stars that I get to start my day with him, just like you and I started together. Chris Chips online saying good morning, and there's Ed and Karen on the line. Good to have you online as well. You know, there are a couple of big things that seem to be going on in the realm of public safety in the community, and some of it is the very interesting stuff like, hey, they're having a job fair over at the Guam Police Department. Isn't that going to be something worth crowing about, a job fair? You ever, in your mind, went over the idea that maybe you've seen enough, you've had enough of the crime and the drugs and the alcohol abuse that happens on Guam, and you want to strap on a gun and a badge and become a lawman? This is your chance. This is your opportunity to do it. Pump up the audio there, Mr. Producer. Yeah, you too can join the GPD and become a citizen on patrol. Citizens on patrol.
Have you heard the word out on the street? There's a new kind of heat that's walking the beat. Citizens on patrol. Cause the neighborhood folks won't take no more. They got bars on the windows, locks on the doors. Clean the streets is what they'll do. They're gonna get rid of all the punks like you. They're citizens on patrol. Citizens on patrol.
Get up, get down, get sideways. You like that stuff, don't you? Citizens on Patrol, that's going to be the theme for the job fair that's going to be taking place. We'll get off. And there's never been a better time to do it. There's never been a better time because, number one, the cops need the help. Number two, did you see that juicy ride that the chief was driving around at the parade? Two-tone. It's got this nice little purple hue on the top of it.
Yeah,
that was nice. That was nice. That's
pretty slick.
We need. I would join just for that. Number one. Number two, have you seen the new cop uniforms that they're talking about? They're going tactical. They're going tactical with it. It's supposed to be a little bit more comfortable, but a lot more durable. And maybe, you know, when you do have to wrestle a naked Micronesian, right? I mean, I'm sure that there's, you know, the material is so sturdy that you would not necessarily feel any of that naked junk on you because of the nature of the tactical material.
That was really a horrible visual.
Sorry.
Thank you for that.
743 plus now, there is a different method that they're going to be using to communicate. I mean, the cops and the fire department and all those guys have always had access to their own band, if you will, out on the radio. You know, you got cop band and fire band and public service bands and things like that. And now they're moving into a time where they have kind of their own internet now. FirstNet is a real thing, and it's really coming to Guam. For telecommunications, I always go to Bob Kelly, and Bob's on the line with me now to describe describe what exactly FirstNet is and how that's going to change the lives of our police officers and fire people and first responders and have them get help to us faster. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
So you and I have been talking about FirstNet for a little bit. I mean, conceptually, it's not a brand new topic. It's new today because the folks over at Docomo are actually talking about putting it up and getting it out.
Well, let me very easily explain FirstNet. FirstNet is just an LTE band that is for first responders.
Like the cop band on the radio.
Well, okay, but if you think of this right now, you've got IT&E, you've got iConnect, you've got Docomo and GTA, all have services that you can go out and buy a phone, a Samsung or what have you, and that'll work on any of the carriers usually if it's got the bands in the phone. And you look at the bands on the phone and make sure when you buy your phone, it's a band that they support. Most bands are multi-band. And what they've done is they've made another LTE band, just a standard straight LTE like what Docomo serves today, but it's on band 14, and that is a band that is reserved for the first responder use, primary use. Actually, it can be used by everybody on a secondary basis. In other words, if Docomo puts this in and you have a phone that has band 14 in it, it can be used by other people on a secondary basis, meaning that the priority is first responders, which is one of the incentives that AT&T had to put it in, that can be utilized for commercial service too as a secondary basis.
Would we need to go to something like that? Is there penetration on the phones in a population our size? You think that's a risk that we would overflow into the band 14?
Well, if the people who would want to do that would be, in this case, I don't know what Docomo's agreement is, but part of the good this provided was it provided more rural services. Maybe it would provide better services for people that are on, say, Rhoda or Tinian.
Oh, interesting. Now, getting back to the whole desire of having a FirstNet, is it would be a place, for the most part, reserved for first responders, and that means the bandwidth that would be available on that band 14 would generally be used a little bit more efficiently, so that you'd be able to move a lot more data between those first responders in case of some kind of emergency.
You would be able to move the same amount of data that you could if it was on another LTE band, because it's the same phones and the same equipment, basically. I say that, but there are hardened phones that are made for first responders that are like yours. But Samsung phones, like your Samsung 9, is actually certified for, it's called FirstNet certification, is certified by NIST, the National Institute of Technology, for use on FirstNet. So a lot of phones that consumers buy actually have the band 14. They can be activated for the first responders. Of course, they have to be activated and permitted on, just like with the SIM chip, you have to have that for the carrier you use. So think of it as just an LTE that is reserved for the first responders, so that they don't have to compete with other people for the same bandwidth, and it's set up obviously for them to be able to more economically move that data. It can be, but when you talk about data, you can use LTE to move large amounts of data today, and the same technology applies to FirstNet. So it's just basically an LTE that was reserved for the first responders. And one reason this was done is because you can buy the LTE phones relatively inexpensive. They're made, the technology's made, and this brings the cost of the first responders' communication down because of the availability of handsets and other equipment that can operate in the LTE band.
Right. Okay. So I think I got it concept-wise. How would we roll that out here?
Well, what Docomo is probably going to do is open up LTE or first, okay, remember I told you there would be separate SIM chips and so on for it. They could use initially even some of their own initial bandwidth they've already rolled out today for the first responders. Now, ultimately, they would probably want to be putting out, there's federal money for this, to put out RANs. RANs are the radios that go into all the cell towers. And when you've got a LTE company with multiple bands, sometimes they have multiple RANs in the racks inside those cell towers, so they can provide service on multiple bands. All of your phones today work in multiple bands, and the carriers have multiple bands out there. And so probably they would have a chip that would be a Docomo chip for first responders that would initially be using the bands that they have available today. So you could actually roll that out today, just giving the existing infrastructure. In essence, they would be selling their existing service and giving them a chip to give them priority use on their existing band. And we would need to talk to Docomo how they're doing this.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've got them coming in. I think they're going to be in the studio on Friday morning, so I'll definitely ask them some questions about that. Being able to program the SIM chips is not all that difficult and doesn't require a whole lot. And we already know about how many first responders that we've got here on Guam and what kind of phones. In fact, it sounds to me like if you've got a Samsung 8 or a 9 that can take dual SIMs, then you could have one first responder guy with his regular phone number, his regular duty phone in there, and then also be able to communicate over that second SIM in the phone with other first responders.
That would be true if the phone had band 14 and was certified by NIST for first responders.
Right.
There is a first responder, in fact, I think Docomo has got this, but they would not be the only ones who would necessarily be the only ones who can do it. Some of the police shops or others could be selling FirstNet equipment and FirstNet phones also that would then work on the Docomo network. I say the Docomo network, the first network that Docomo is doing. The other nice thing that happens is Docomo would probably be using part of what they would have on their core equipment in there. That's the equipment that operates their LTE. They would be operating the RANs for FirstNet on Guam on those, and then those interconnect with first responder networks in the rest of the United States through FirstNet. So this is going to be a nationwide system. So it would have the ability to, in essence, roam anywhere on FirstNet and be able to call between them. So again, it's
very interesting technology. But very quickly, now, are there any speed bumps in the rollout of the next gen 911? I'm hearing through the telecom grapevine there may be a couple of missteps being taken. Can you illuminate?
Well, I can tell you that some carriers have already notified the fire chief that they didn't provide the appropriate plans and dates and so on for the rollout on the phases in the way it was on the letter. And I have not seen a response on that letter from the carriers that did it.
It's like, hey, we bought the system. You guys need to be ready in 2 weeks. And all the telecom guys are saying, say what? Hey, what are you talking about? You can't just spring it on us like that.
Yeah, well, more specifically, they need to know the dates that the 911 will have the readiness and what the necessary facility coordination is to provide the interconnect. You can sit there and say, you've got to be ready, but you've got to tell the carriers ready for what and on what dates and how it's going to take place. And that really was not in the initial letter. All it said is, you got to be ready in 6 months, thank you, but no additional information. And that's not reasonable for the carriers because they have no way to get ready if they don't know what they're getting ready for.
All right, that's I think a significant development in that story. So we'll sick Kevin and the guys from Daily Post on it.
One more thing, I have a concern that they're doing phase 1 and 2, expecting the carriers to pay for that. Yet they want to go to NG 911 because the implementation and interconnection is different for NG 911, and the cost of the phase 1 and 2, unless it's done properly. It's an important thing, could be a stranded investment. But if they're using phase 1 and 2 as just the technology for precise location of where you're at, but they're doing it with NG911 technology, that could be okay. But again, that's not spelled out on how that's being done right.
Right. Well, the smart move would be to bypass 1 and 2 and have everybody go straight to NG911.
In the facility technology, yes, but they can be, again, NG911. Primarily, well, let's go back to phase 1.
You know what, Bob? I don't have the time right now. I got Cousin Fred on the line. I've got something important to veterans on the island, so I wanted to get him on. But
I want to hear that too. Then.
Yeah, we'll return to the topic because I think it's important that everybody's on the same page, especially with this 911. Now that we've made the investment in the program to update it, make sure that it now works better with the characters that are playing in the games on the telecom side. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Sure.
All right, appreciate it. 888-8255. Got a note here. The Department of Veterans Affairs is offering a benefits workshop and claims clinic. It's going to take place on July 30th, and that is companion to a couple of rumors that I'm hearing. In fact, one of them on Facebook Live this morning from Chris Chip asking, the Secretary, Rob Wilkie of the VA, is supposed to be on Guam before the end of the month. For details, my cousin Fred Berdalio's on the line. Hey, Cousin Fred, how you doing?
All right, good morning.
Morning. Are you driving around Robert Wilkie from the VA?
Oh, no. I'm driving around. I'm actually just getting prepared for a meeting with one of the other veterans officials that we're going to touch base on some of the stuff, probably even having to do with the Department of Veterans Affairs benefit workshop, that claims clinic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to be talking about here. But can you confirm that Secretary Wilkie's going to be on Guam?
Well, I know that every single time there's some word out that the Secretary of the Veterans Administration would be coming out, sometimes there could be always a change of plan. So I just don't want to confirm yet, but...
Come on, Freddie, it's me. I'm your cousin. You can tell me.
At the governor's office, the communications team, Janella, and Crystal, are always staying on top of any of the, U.S. Federal officials that could be passing through or coming over.
You're such a good dancer.
Of course, if there's of a trip comes.
Okay, so long and short, if the guy comes, we're not going to hear about it from you. We'll hear about it from the governor's office.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Just hit me on Facebook. Move the word. If you need to get word to me, move it through Auntie Annie or Uncle Robert, and they will spirit the information to me so it doesn't look like it came from you. But end of the month here, July 30th at GCC, veterans, family members, survivors, and community providers are going to get together. It's kind of a not the longest workshop in the world. It's only 3 hours. What's going to be talked about?
Well, they're going to talk about, I'm sure, especially since it's some of the members of the benefits office, VA compensation and pension benefits, everything from vocational rehabilitation, employment, loan guarantees, education, burial and survivor benefits. Mm-hmm. And there'll be people, of course, counselors that are going to be able to, service counselors that will be able to get a sort of an idea from that veteran there, especially if they bring any of their paperwork to show how long they were in their service,
really?
DD 214 and stuff. And but I think it's really appropriate because the Department of Veterans Affairs, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, now this is their outreach. Last week, we teamed up with WestCare Pacific, GURA, Behavioral Health and Wellness, Public Health, Guam Homeless Coalition, and other stakeholders, including some federal U.S. Veterans Affairs officials, and we had a Staying Stronger theme of health conference for veterans, which was really successful thanks to WestCare Pacific, really that helped out. And then GCC was at the same place, the Guam Community College multipurpose auditorium.
Okay, well, it's good to know that this is going to be taking place July 30th, 4 to 7 at GCC. And if you've got questions about anything that the cousin Fred was talking about, there will be subject matter experts there to be able to talk you through it and processes that might help you avoid having to fly to Hawaii or spend a lot of time interneting and emailing at 1-800-ON-HOLDING with Hawaii. Save you a couple of steps in getting these benefits that you've earned through your service.
Yeah, so we have a robust veterans community that shares all this communication. So it was sent to me on the notice,
That's why it's their halai that I'm plugged into right now that tells me that Bob Wilkie's coming to Guam.
I can't confirm that. You would have to call, the communication team, Christo and Janella, and they have the more intel on any of the dignitaries that might be coming in and out of Guam, especially if it concerns them.
I'll wait until next time I'm at Deuce It and watch Monster Squad sing and see if I can get the info from Crystal there. Dude, I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay, take care.
I'm going to kiss to the family. I'll see you, Cousin Fred. 7:59 and change the radio station. KUSG. I got you. Stand by for Fox News Live. Kevin Kerrigan with Daily Post News Live on the other side of that.
He calls it nonsense. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump with those comments before heading to West Virginia for a fundraiser after the hours-long testimony by former special counsel Robert Mueller before two House committees. The president blasting Democrats.
We've done a great job, and we've done it under this terrible, phony cloud, a phony cloud. That's all it was. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed.
He thanked the members of his own party for defending him.
I very much appreciate those incredible warriors that you watch today on television, Republicans, that defended something and defended something very powerful, very important, because they were really defending our country.
And the president defending himself for not speaking to Mueller during the investigation, saying he ruined people's lives for not remembering a date.
Mueller made clear that the president is not exonerated.
That's House Judiciary Committee Chair Jerry Nadler just moments ago. Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying there were instances of obstruction of justice. And earlier, Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff said the Democratic investigations will continue. Days of turmoil in Puerto Rico as calls grow for the governor to step down. Fox's Gernal Scott with this live.
Well, Lisa, an embattled governorship may be about to come to an end with Ricardo Rossello rumored to be on the verge of stepping down. We are awaiting some announcement from Puerto Rico right now. Earlier this week, he told Fox News he would stay on but not run for another term. Puerto Ricans have been rallying outside the governor's mansion, hoping to pressure the governor to leave office. Transcripts of chats were released showing Rossello disparaging his constituents and insulting women. More than a dozen other government officials have already resigned, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. This is Fox News.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus, and Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Great Britain has a new prime minister, and he immediately pledged to keep a promise to separate Great Britain from the European Union.
Good afternoon.
Arriving at 10 Downing Street,
I have just been to see Her Majesty the Queen.
Boris Johnson pledging to complete Britain's Brexit from the European Union.
And come out of the EU on October the 31st. No ifs or buts.
He said if he can't agree a new divorce deal with the EU, he's ready to leave without one.
The time has come to act, to take decisions, to give strong leadership and to change this country for the better.
Johnson was heckled throughout his speech by nearby protesters. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
A federal judge says the Trump administration can enforce its new restrictions on asylum for people crossing the U.S.-Mexico border while lawsuits challenging the policy play out. Facebook agrees to pay a record settlement to the federal government over privacy concerns.
Big changes at Facebook, the social media giant reaching a settlement with the FTC over the violation of a user privacy order from 2012. The fine, $5 billion, and forcing Facebook to set up an independent committee that will oversee privacy. CEO Mark Zuckerberg, he's going to have to personally certify that the new privacy requirements are being met every quarter and annually. Should he be untruthful, he could be liable civilly and criminally. Important to note, the settlement does not include an admission of guilt by the company. It needs to be approved by a federal judge. The FTC says they're hoping the size of the fine will send a message to other tech companies as well that privacy isn't an option. Jackie DeAngelis, Fox News.
Rapper Meek Mill says he's ecstatic that justice prevailed after Pennsylvania appeals court overturned his decade-old drug and gun conviction, calling the ordeal mentally and emotionally challenging. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Get a free Polar Pop any size when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee any size when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The governor's office has announced the release of $32.8 million in Medicaid payments from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the vast majority of which went to Guam Regional Medical City, just 3% to Guam Memorial Hospital. The flood of Medicaid funding from CMS follows passage last month of federal legislation allowing 100% reimbursement from Guam's remaining Obamacare funds without the need to put up any matching funds locally. In all, Guam Regional Medical City recently received $25.8 million in reimbursements for the care that it has provided to its Medicaid patients. GMH got just $855,000. Governor's office explained that GRMC has been waiting for years for Medicaid reimbursements. GMH Chief Executive Officer Lillian Perez-Posadas told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that the $855,000 GMH received was in addition to another $500,000 received from CMS earlier this month. Posadas said she does not think that GMH is behind in filing any claims for Medicaid reimbursements, but she would check on that. In a release yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero called the additional Medicaid funding a welcome reprieve and the result of all our efforts to make our case before the federal government. Rose Hermoso told a legislative committee yesterday that she was dismayed to learn that a University of Guam professor who she alleged raped her 10 years ago was not on the sex offender registry list when she returned to the island last September. Hermoso testified during a public hearing on Senator Amanda Shelton's Bill number 157, which would require convicted sex offenders to register on the sex offender registry website even if their cases are under appeal. I'm here as a victim turned survivor, said Hermoso. Senator Shelton said her bill would close a loophole. She introduced it in June after the Guam Supreme Court upheld the October 2017 criminal sexual conduct conviction against former University of Guam professor Michael Ellert. Ellert was not required to register as a sex offender until after the decision upholding his conviction. He has now registered, and he began serving his 18-month prison sentence in June. Let's close that loophole, said Hermoso, who did not mention Ellert by name during her testimony. We'll have more news after this.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65%. For travel, back to school, a wedding, do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The Federal Aviation Commission has denied a request from the Marine Corps to declare a restricted airspace zone rising 4,900 feet above the live fire training range complex being built on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base. The U.S. Marine Corps asked the FAA to declare the restricted zone in order to contain vertical hazards associated with the firing range complex. However, following their review of the proposal and the comments submitted by those who responded to it, the FAA concluded the Marine Corps has numerous live fire ranges without the need for a restricted fly zone above them, and they can complete their mission on Guam safely and effectively without one. Senator Clint Rigel was among those who submitted a comment on the proposed restricted airspace. He asked whether any commercial flights from Guam would be affected by the declaration and wondered why it was necessary to restrict airspace for small arms fire. In a release yesterday, he called the Marines' request for restricted airspace an example of how the Department of Defense asks to restrict more space than it needs. 34-year-old Octopus Pui Pui made his first appearance in Superior Court yesterday on allegations of urinating in public. According to the magistrate report, Pui Pui was observed urinating last Saturday afternoon on Happy Landing Road into Mooning. An officer approached and identified himself, but Pui Pui ignored him and continued urinating, according to the magistrate complaint. He was arrested following a struggle. Pui Pui, also known as Rambo Milk and by other names, was charged with indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan yesterday asked him about the other names he uses, and Pui Pui, through a Chukese interpreter, told the judge, "Rambo Milk is my real name. Those other names I made up," he said. Pui Pui pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. He's due back in court on August 1st. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Let's see if we can punch through some of these clouds. Partly sunny today with isolated showers in the forecast. We've got light and variable winds on the way, becoming northeast around 10 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry, 10 o'clock. I just start over again, okay? Light and variable winds becoming northeasterly around 10 miles an hour in the afternoon. Highs near 89 degrees and overnight lows should be about 79 degrees. For sunset, 6:50 tonight. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be somewhere between 6:04 and about 6:05. Rambo Knight from the Weather Center now with details on what we're looking at on the radar screen. Where'd it go? Hey, what the?
Not sure what happened there, but I can tell you just a few isolated showers rolled through earlier. Not much behind that, so if you got some rain in the past hour, well, you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, there didn't, in the last radar I was looking at, there didn't seem to be too much coming in from the east.
Yeah, and there really isn't. There's not much out there right now. Some stuff could fire up throughout the afternoon, but right now, nothing much out there. Looking at satellite here, we can see just those few little clouds, and most of them off to our west. We do have some blobbage out to the east, and a big upper level low. You can see a little bit of spin in the clouds if you look at the upper right-hand part of this moving picture here. That is an upper level level low, and as it tracks to the west, it may drag some of that moisture over. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll have to see how that times out. 91 WInvest is not a threat to us. It's up to the northwest, and it's moving towards Japan. Otherwise, just a warm day with a few showers.
All right, and possibility of grill marks later on, and enjoy it today because Michael Knight believes that over the next couple of days and maybe into the weekend, we could be seeing some of that blobbage turn into some weather in this area.
Yeah, I really think, especially over the next, say, 36 hours, as that upper level low tracks to the west, it's going to drag that big blob over us, and so things could be much different tomorrow than they are today.
8:14, that's news and weather together. Stand by. Coming up, Blake Watsari, Rambo Watson, Rambo Knight, and Rambo Ray are going to be pretending to talk about sports. That's ahead on The Point.
Whether it's for business or pleasure, staying connected when you travel is always essential. And now when you travel to South Korea, enjoy free data roaming with Docomo Pacific. Navigate the city, look up the best restaurants, email back home, or post all your pictures, all on the go for free. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your postpaid account is ready for roaming. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See print ad for details.
Thanks, Ronnie. 8:14 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at Ruby Tuesdays. Starters, lunches, and dinners priced to please on a brand new Ruby Tuesdays favorites menu. Got dips and wings and burgers and tacos, steaks and salmon with toppers and more. Available for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Also being brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. American President Lines, global presence with a local home and security title. You buying a house, you buying some property, maybe you're buying like condos and warehouses and stuff like that to get ready for the military buildup. That can get kind of complicated and tricky, but they've seen everything over at Security Title. Check with Ron and Kim before you make a down payment.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by Take Care and the guys over at Cars Plus celebrating the summer of the Jeep. 1.99% APR gets you gets you the keys to a new Wrangler or a Cherokee or a Grand Cherokee or a Jeep Compass. Test drive one today. Do it during the summer of Jeep. It ends on July 31st at Cars Plus in Mighty. Also being brought to you by Wendy's, where they've got the berry burst chicken salad. Every single bite is going to have a berry in it. It'll have some chicken in it and some great flavors like feta cheese and almonds and a raspberry vinaigrette. Find it for lunch or dinner tonight at Wendy's.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Because Mercury is in retrograde. That's what's going on. That's the story. We're just talking about some issues that we've got that were a little challenging yesterday. Normally, it's one of those things. I had a problem with the computer, and normally it's one of those issues where I just go and shut it down and then unplug it and plug it back in, and everything comes back right as rain. Didn't happen with this one of the systems that we were using yesterday, to the degree that I had to bring in the guy that wrote the software on that computer.
The actual creator.
The guy, right? And that's kind of what he said. I'll take a look at it from Florida. And, oh, by the way, these things happen because Mercury is in retrograde. And that's that is apparently affecting everything.
Just like a full moon, right? How people a little crazier, drink a little more on those nights.
It might come down as the handiest excuse that you can use,
Blame it on the tide.
It happens 3 times a year, and it takes a month for it to happen each time.
So you've got all that. Yeah, just all kinds of time.
Must be Mercury.
So when she says, "Who's that picture of you and so on Facebook? Are you cheating on me?" And just say, "Honey, Mercury's in retrograde."
It's Mercury. I don't know.
I can't control anything.
The tides are coming in. The tides are going out.
It's the cosmos.
Don't blame me.
It's the cosmos, babe. Why didn't we win more gold in the South Pacific Games?
Mercury.
In retrograde.
It's in retrograde.
Can I ask another dumb question? This is the Ray Gibson Show. This is the headquarters for exaggeration and dumb questions. What the heck is retrograde? What does that mean?
That means that Mercury appears to be going opposite in the direction of the sky that it normally does, or the direction that it revolves around the sun. So from our perspective,
Uh-huh.
Mercury appears to be going the opposite direction that it should be going. So it's called.
But
in
it just
retrograde.
appears to be doing that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
'cause
everything's
the planet's
still
not gonna
moving.
stop and turn around.
Right. No, everything's still moving a certain direction. But as we get on one side of the sun, and then Mercury, keep in mind, is going around the sun a whole lot faster than we are.
Yeah.
And so it goes around, and as it does on occasion, well, 3 times a year, sometimes 4.
Well, of course it goes
appears.
faster.
Yeah.
So we're in the section 8.
Opposite.
We're in the section 8 section of the solar system.
Yeah.
So they got a better deal. At any rate, that's what the 8:19 in the morning. It's time for Sports with Blake. Buddy Nate says, I thought it was in Gatorade. Well, you know what? Maybe it goes from retrograde to Gatorade, but thanks very much for the sporty reference that we've got there. Good morning, Blake Watson.
Good morning. Good morning. There is hardly any sports, but we do have a few.
But we didn't talk we talked crap sports yesterday.
No.
Did you have anything yesterday that was going to be that we could hold over for today?
Yeah, just this.
Okay.
Just this. Seems to be the only thing going on. And I actually touched on this a little bit, but Guam retained the Marianas Cup title as they win 6-2 over NMI. The U19, U23 men's competition went down at GFA's National Training Center over the weekend, I believe Sunday. I want to say Sunday. Either way, Isaiah Lagutang, he scored the eventual game winner in a 6-2 win. I guess he scored the 6th goal in the 63rd minute. Kyle Holly, Jacob McDonald, Devin Mendiola, Clayton Saito, Anthony Kitiche, they also chipped in, and Sunjun Tenorio scored for the NMI. That was the that was their only goal. The NMI's other goal kind of came in when one of the Guam boys put it in his own net.
Sweet.
So, but it's okay. They still won 6-2. And elsewhere, the NMI U19 women's, they defended their 2018 title. They are back-to-back champions of the Marianas Cup for the women's. They defeated Guam 3-0 as Gianna Griffin and Guinevere, excuse me. That's a name
I
you'll
like
see.
that name.
Yeah, that's what I said. Genevieve. No, Guinevere Borja from NMI. They get goals. So 3-0. And Gianna Griffin voted U19 women's competition MVP.
All right. Well, here we are, 8/21, and July 25th. We are done with Liberation, and those festivities will come to a close, and the observations will come to a close, and that means only one thing, and that is the beginning of the school year, and that will bring to us the continuing drama of IIAAG and DOE.
I'm glad you brought this up, especially on a day when there's not much else. But so my kids go to daycare there, and I just have a question. I really don't have an answer to this, so maybe somebody can help out. But I just want to know, DOE and IIAAG are going to not be playing each other anymore, right? And
I thought they were going to do. I thought it was going to be a hybrid where there was going to be, they were going to maintain for some sports, and then around the middle of the year, then walk away.
Okay.
Or did they finally decide that the IIAAG said either we're in all the way or we're out all the way?
That's the thing. I don't know if they've made a solid decision. Maybe they have, and I missed it. But my point is that there is a couple sports, actually 2 sports, a first and a second quarter sport.
Yeah.
That if they do end up going with the half and half year, then I guess it won't affect them until next year. But it's still an interesting question because I go right there by your alma mater, FD. My kids go to school in the daycare right there, and I was curious why the FD Friars football team is practicing, because they're the only non-DOE school in the football league. So if
who are they going to play?
And I guess Guam High. Guam High's not in DOE. So basically, you got 2 teams, Dodea at Guam High and FD. And they're the only 2 non-DOE schools in the football league. So,
well, they're out there practicing because
they're already practicing.
Yeah, and that's what champions do.
Well,
they start practicing earlier, and that's why they keep beating
that's
everybody.
what I'm saying. And that's what. And I guess to my point too, like, hey, GW, are you is anybody else practice? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then just go ahead and give it to them. I mean, just like last year. But but my point was, who are they going to play?
It's an interesting question.
Baseball's the same way because Dodea and FD are the only 2, because St. Paul, St. John, they don't field baseball teams or football teams. So it's just going to be interesting the first 2 quarters as far as, like these boys athletics go, because there is an interesting element of Dodea and FD being in both leagues, but they're not in DOE.
All right, and just for people watching on Facebook Live, that's it looks like an artist rendition, and what I see in my dreams when I think of Linda Carter, the
It's her
Wonder Woman
birthday.
from the 1970s, right?
Yesterday?
Yes, yesterday was her birthday.
Yeah, yesterday
But
was her
we celebrate it today because I print out that report.
Yes.
Daily. So that's why Linda Carter's picture is up there. J-Lo's birthday was yesterday as well. 50. Yes.
She looks so good at 50.
I did too.
See, I got to be.
That was just 5 years ago.
So I was going to do a live online search for Jennifer Lopez pictures, but it's possible, it being Jennifer Lopez, some of them might not be broadcast quality right from the get-go, so it'll take me a second to see.
That's all right. While you dig that up, I got Guam Masters Baseball League, the 50-plus Guam Masters League. They're already 2 games into the season. They played Tuesdays and Saturdays. They had a doubleheader last Tuesday. Bud Light Rockin' 50s beat the Mong Toto Mighty Falcons 12-9, and then let's see. Well, I guess that was just one game.
I like that. I like that their name's the Rockin' 50s.
I know, right? That's
cool.
nice. Saturday got a doubleheader. It's going to be played at Paseo. They got the Jonia Gold Masters versus Mong Toto Mighty Falcons, and Bud Light Rockin' 50s versus the Siemens. And that's going to be 3:30 and 6:30 your game times.
It's 8:24, and there's from CNN now. They've done a report. Yes, watch again on Instagram. I don't want to watch again on Instagram. I just want to watch the whole thing now. But they've got images of Jennifer Lopez doing some dance moves. Again, the idea is that Jennifer Lopez is rocking 50, making 50 look like 24.
Oh, yeah. Her and Selma Hayek are really good at doing that.
Yeah.
They're really good at looking like they're still 28.
But it's the thing, and I don't hold out a whole lot for, I don't necessarily refer to J-Lo as like the greatest talent that there ever has been in the history of music and
She's not
movies
even
and things
good.
like that.
She's really pretty, don't get me wrong, but she's not good.
It's like, it's okay, so she can sing. Like,
she can dance.
Like people in the karaoke bar can sing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, we're not, it's not like Christina Aguilera or something like that, right? But the idea that she's doing it and doing it looking that good at that age, I think is inspirational.
Well, it's also when you pair that with the fact, she did get her start dancing. And she is a really, really good dancer. So you pair her mediocre singing with her looks and that dancing, then you got to
And I think for Blake and I, she will always be known to us for her portrayal of Selena in the movie because she did such an outstanding job.
I thought that and a great.
Most people don't think that they're not the same person.
I know, right? Yeah.
People
and
like,
really,
they're not.
And
Well,
the funny thing is that actually Selena's passing opened the door for J-Lo to make her way in because Selena was going to be the big next crossover star, and then suddenly she was taken out by the Yolanda fan club deal, and there was J-Lo kind of waiting in the wings.
Selena should have been the first 8 Mile, where the singer rap, the singer performer, kind of plays themselves,
That would make an interesting biopic. 8:26 in the morning now. People are going to say, "Well, that's just more sexist talk on the Ray Gibson show, talking about Jennifer Lopez looking good at 50, yada yada yada." Why do you have to make a big deal about it? Number one, I give credit where I think credit is due, because there are a lot of people, they hit a particular stride and then they just kind of let themselves go, get it to a certain age, get to a certain point in their life, and then let themselves go. And I think it's important to realize that you're going to be around for a long time. Invest in your brand, invest in yourself. So to be non-sexist about this, what guy?
Oh, there's 2.
Singer, actor,
Clooney,
whatever. George.
Clooney
You
looks
think
good.
Clooney? Okay, but I mean for his age,
he's almost 60.
Is he?
Yeah, George Clooney's almost 60. Brad Pitt's about 55. He looks great.
And let's face it, Tom Cruise is holding together pretty well.
Have you seen the trailer for Top Gun, guys?
Of course I did. Maverick.
Yes.
Did they do that? Are they doing that CGI, making them look younger in that? I mean, he does look great, don't get me wrong, but are they doing that CGI?
I was hoping Cruise would dress in the same outfit that he did in Tropic Thunder. That's where he was balding, had fat hands.
The agent.
That would have been funny.
They need to make a whole movie on that guy. Have they?
I think they were going to, and he was down, but I don't think it ever made. I forget that guy's name. By the way, Clooney's 58. And he looks great.
Okay.
He looks really, really good.
Well, so I'm going to do a little brag here. I went by the clinic yesterday. I was supposed to pick up a prescription. So I went by the clinic, and the lady says, date of birth. So I told her 1962. And I said, but I like to think I can pass for 72. And she looked back up at me and says, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That's it. Normally going to the clinic is a drag, but today, yes, I can pass for being born in 1972. How about that? I was going to say, well, what about 82? But I didn't want to push my luck. 8:28. I know when to stop.
Speaking of Tropic Thunder, Ben Stiller directed that movie. Ben Stiller looks great, and he's like 53, 54.
He's a funny guy.
Jeff Goldblum's another guy. Looks
see,
really good.
now here comes the reverse sexism now. Is people are going to say, gee, you're only talking about one woman that looks good for her age, but 20 guys. Isn't that the case? You know, or what are you trying to say, that guys age better than women?
Have you seen a recent picture of Raquel Welch?
A recent picture of her?
She is in her 70-something and looks as good as J-Lo does right now.
One of my all-time favorite ladies of all time still looks great, and that's Sophia Loren, right? Sophia.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see. I thought I had a cleaner version of this, but I'm not sure if I can make this play properly.
84
on the screen. What we're looking at here is, if I'm doing this right, is the
shoot down 3 enemy planes and
Maverick.
Now, a guy in his 60s that looks like he's pretty much in his 60s, Ed Harris. Doesn't look same. Didn't age though. Him and Woody Harrelson didn't age too.
Yeah. So this is the trailer for the new Maverick movie. You're not getting enough of the video to make this cool.
I want to see it
at least
bad.
a 2-star admiral by now. Yet here you are, Captain. Why is that?
It's one of life's mysteries, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I can't make the video do what I want it to do, so we'll see if I can scare it up on a regular YouTube channel as opposed to trying to get it out on the screen deal. Sorry about that, guys, but that is the crazy trailer that is going on out there, and there's lots and lots of people that are excited about it, myself included. I mean, how many years was it since Top Gun came out?
Was it 87, 86?
So
around
that, yeah, around that time, and that was the inspiration for me to go out and buy one of these 20. At the time, I don't know who I thought I was, but I bought the biggest Sony television you could find. Right, it's one of these, and they weigh about 300 pounds or something like that.
Still the wooden.
No,
box
it wasn't made out of. It wasn't made out of wood, but it was the one that, I mean, it was the kind that if you went into duty free, it was the one that they put up on the
display.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, it was just the best TV you could buy. And then I went to Pioneer. And talked to Jess Fujikawa about getting a really good receiver that went into it that had Dolby, and then you go out and you buy Top Gun on Laserdisc. On Laserdisc,
so it looks like a big vinyl.
Yeah, and then you put that together with at the time was the 5.1 sound system, and wait for the Dolby to kick in, and you could literally feel the house. Right, it was, and that was for years the benchmark movie by which you put together your AV system in the house for your man cave or for your living room.
That makes sense. I mean, because that was at the time. Because I think for a while it was the Matrix. You know, like when the DVD players and the flat screens first started coming out, people were like, oh, look how good the Matrix looks. Because it was one of the first ones.
Yeah,
so got to go hand in hand with the technology.
So where's the YouTube video of the video game Top Gun?
I had that on Nintendo.
Right?
On NES. It was it was like one first-person view, and you just kind of flew around and you shot these pixelated little planes.
I'm doing a search for YouTube now. Don't see it.
Did a lot of people did you lost that loving feeling? Did that become a karaoke go-to here or everywhere?
There was singing in it. There you could go to the place and sing it. Okay, so here is this might be a little bit of a walkthrough on the video game that was Top Gun. They're going through through this part here.
This is the one I had.
There's people right now sitting in a warm bath of nostalgia just listening to this going, I remember it now.
the MIDI
game.
music, gee whiz.
And you always died when you went to go land on the aircraft carrier. You always went too far, too low.
I never made it that far.
Oh, really?
No, I never
always went
did.
too low. And I never landed on the aircraft carrier.
There it is.
Here it is. And I love the cockpit sounds, too.
We may be done with the show. I might just leave this up here and finish.
Just plug in a controller and just
all
go
done.
dart.
All done. Oh man, crazy stuff here.
I love this.
Top Gun. That's all the time that we have to pretend to talk about sports here. I know. I tell you what. Let me see if I can do this. I can leave at least a little bit of this going on for a little bit as we exit out of this. Listen, it's 8:32, 8:33 in the morning. Blake's going to go finish the morning show over on Star 101. We've got a couple of spots to take care of, and then Kevin Kerrigan will give us the last look at headline news and maybe a little bit more about Octopus Pui and his pee-pee story in the headlines. That's coming up next.
Hey,
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it? I'll take a book club. Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
My God, you remember when that was the state of the art? 8:33 in the morning. And I wonder, you know what, while the headlines are playing, I might go and check out the App Store and see if there's a version of Top Gun that I can play on my Pixel phone. While I'm doing that, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post and all the big stories.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: 6 law firms will represent Guam in a case against manufacturers of PFAS chemicals that have contaminated Guam's drinking water. Last night, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signing the contract, according to a release from the Attorney General's office. If the case settles before it goes to trial, the 6 law firms will work on a contingency fee of 15%, which is half of the 30% allowed by law. However, if a trial does take place, the contingency fees will rise by 2.5%. The 6 law firms who will represent Guam in the lawsuit have represented about 8 states and territories in environmental litigation in the past. The team also brings expertise that includes acting as lead counsel in the first PFAS exposure case filed back in 1999. Yet another sexual abuse lawsuit filed against the Catholic clergy on Guam, according to the latest complaint filed by a man using the initials BA to protect his identity. It states that recent media pictures of the late Louis Brouillard helped him identify the adult Boy Scout leader and priest who he says sexually abused him during a weekend campout back in the early 1970s. The complaint is filed against the Boy Scouts of America and the Capuchin Franciscans, alleging that he was sexually abused by Brouillard at a Boy Scout outing when he was 11 years old. More than 220 sexual abuse lawsuits have now been filed. This lawsuit, like the others, seeks $5 million in damages. There has been a surge in sexual abuse lawsuits filed ahead of the August 15th deadline to file claims. Brandon Michael Acosta, who is accused in the murder and rape of a Dededo teen, is set to enter a plea of guilty in a separate 2018 burglary and drug case. Acosta was arrested in that burglary case last year, just a few days after 15-year-old Timika Jadine Nauta was murdered. He appeared in Superior Court yesterday. His defense attorney, Jocelyn Roden, told Judge Anita Sokola that she's waiting for the Attorney General's office to submit a formal plea agreement in the burglary case. Details of the agreement have not yet been disclosed. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Closest thing I can get to a game on with Top Gun, the actual name Top Gun in it on the App Store, is apparently it's not a game as much as it is an app for a restaurant in Djibouti. I just like saying Djibouti on the radio. 8:36, that's iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect and learn everything that you can about saving yourself some money and the way you're using your internet and your mobile. They can hook you up at 888-8888.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Writers, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
I'm not seeing any place on Guam in the. I'm not supposed to do traffic yet. Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you about dining over at one of my favorite places. You know, people come to Guam and say, "I want to eat something tomorrow. Where do I go?" Mezcla. They got and it's, you know, you can get some down-home stuff. You can also get some fusion stuff in there. And you know, it's practice for Lent. They've got the seafood lao at Mezcla. Medley. I love this. It's creative writing here for seafood lao. A medley of salmon, shrimp, scallops, and fresh spinach wrapped in tea leaves. Will steam to order. Top with soy butter sauce and your choice of starches. Do you like the fried sweet sour, the sweet potatoes? Yes, we have that too. Visit Mescla in Agana and a new Tumon location at the Grand Plaza Hotel. If you need reservations, and I suggest them, 969-2652.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Okay. I was just looking at the traffic gizmo a second ago, and it doesn't look like there's anything that you need to worry about. Expect some delays at some of the major intersections. 8, 10, and 16 not moving as smoothly as I'd like it to right now, but most of the other intersections in and around that area are doing all right. Might see a little bit of traffic as usual around this time of day as you're trying to get into Big Navy in Sumai. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot that's going to slow you down over at Navy Hospital. A little bit of traffic in and out of the downtown Hagutnya area, but mostly because of the traffic intersections. As I said, don't see too much that's going to slow you down. Not on what I saw yesterday, and it's a very, very rare fender bender in the downtown Hagutnya area. I was headed to visit some folks over at the Carabao when I was passing by the church, and the intersection where the church is, where they're in between the church and the legislature. There was there's two cars blocking that intersection. I thought, they just stopped. And as it turns out, there was an accident, actual fender bender. And I'm looking at that going, how do you get a fender bender in the downtown Hagutnya area on a Wednesday night where traffic literally moves at about 5 miles an hour? I didn't understand it. And then I looked into cars. Both cars were being driven by, without doing too much profiling, I'm just going to say, they look like tourists. They look like tourists, and it might have been one where both of them were looking at their phones, looking at the maps on their phones, and then crashed into each other as they didn't see each other. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's right now traffic here on The Point.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Here's something that we probably should have talked a little bit about more, or a little more about in the last bunch of days, but a lot of talk about the Apollo 11 mission. You remember where you were when they touched down on the moon? Did you watch it on television? I've told the story many times about my experience of it. And I was a little boy, was on what I believe was not my first airplane ride, but certainly one of the longest airplane rides that my sister and I had gone on. My stepfather and my mom and Shelley and I were making our way out to California, Atwater, California, because that's where Dave's folks were living. And we went out there, and you got to remember, I'm a kid from Guam, and it's 1969. And we're going to Atwater, California, and one of the things that I was looking forward to the most, was to be able to sit in Vu and Va's living room watching color television. It's 1969. Guam didn't get color television until 1972. And I just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And Saturday morning, watching all of my favorite television shows that I had never seen in color. And for me, that was the trip. Also, heated swimming pools. But I just thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And then we, go to the stores, and there was a Frosty Freeze out in the back. It's just, if you know the area of Atwater, you know what we're talking about. And of course, summertime, and the whole place smells like garlic because that's what they grew back there. But watching television, in particular Saturday morning cartoons in color, which was about the greatest thing in the world. And then it came time for the landing, for the moon landing. And then it was, we're going to watch that. So they gather the whole family, go out to the living room, and we watched the landing in the moon. And I believe that it actually happened because I saw it with my own two eyes. But the great disappointment for me was the moon landing, and the coverage of the moon landing was black and white on the color TV. And I'm like, what? How can they? It's just, it was black and white. I left Guam. And anyway, that was one of the things. We're going to have to ring him up again. That I thought was the most interesting thing about that. But, for all intents and purposes, I mean, that was the most incredible thing. I still think it's among the most incredible things, was the idea that we are capable of sending man to the moon. And much is said about the kind of technology. Could you imagine how they would do something like that now? What the available tools would they have today in 2019 that they didn't have 50 years ago? And how would that make it that much more of an incredible trip? My guess is that they'd probably end up using color TVs, just because I'd ask. 8:44 in the morning, 888-8255. My very close, very dear personal friend, Paul Tapau, is on the line for the Guam Police Department. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey. Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Well, no, thanks very much for giving me some time. I know how busy you are, and trying to want to help you drum up as much as possible opportunities for young people in this community to join your ranks as a member of the Guam Police Department.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just the ranks of the Guam Police Department. It's also the ranks of the Department of Correction and Guam Customs and Quarantine. And, again, we really want to acknowledge the administration under the Angura and Tenoro, that Governor Lulu Angura and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenoro, for allowing, and seeing the importance of this continuous announcement and, providing the opportunity for all law enforcement to grow with the demands and the needs of the community. So it's a great opportunity for the community to partake in this. And again, the job fair is on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Those interested, those who really have the calling and are interested, or just that curiosity of just to see what it's all about and understand. We will have personnel there to assess your needs and your inquiries, and we also will have a Department of Administration's personnel there to assist you with the application and some of the requirements that you may need to submit. Relative to employment opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, don't I have to go to school? Don't I have to go to the university or GCC and take a law enforcement course or policing or what I forget what they call that. But there is a curriculum that is required, right?
Not necessarily. It's just the basic requirements that of DOA. And then from there, we follow the post requirements to be, within the law enforcement category 1 and category 2. So we have certain requirements as mandated by the Post Commission that will govern as to the employee or the candidate as to the proper course of curriculum, the educational curriculum that they're going to need to fulfill the duties or capacity of the Guam Police Department.
Right. Or Department of Corrections or Customs and Quarantines. Okay, I said so. But do I need to be BOLEA certified? Do I need to get something like that under my belt before I can apply?
No. High school diploma, U.S. citizens, good standings with the law, no criminal history. We are exempt, so we are, we ask that, you provide, we will, should your application go through the process, we will check your criminal records, your driving records, and everything under the sun. So, there's a lengthy process. So, we're asking, this is an opportunity where we're asking, migrant families who have actually been here and have family members that have U.S. citizenship to apply, because we're trying to diversify not just the Guam Police Department but the entire workforce within law enforcement. And it's going to help with the growing needs and demands of this island. And we foresee it that the more we reach the community and providing these opportunities, the more we're going to engage and ask our FSM families take advantage of this opportunity.
Oh, step up! Definitely step up and see if there are ways that and I know that there have been some in the past, but obviously we could use more and more officers. Just period that go out can go out and understand the needs of the community. I've been harping a long time about this crime wave that we have, and certainly the issue is not enough cops, and we've got plenty of cops that are pulling people over and affecting arrests, but seemingly once they're in the system, they kind of disappear and they find themselves judge shopping and looking for the easy grader out there that'll get allow for a lot of plea bargaining and give them slap on the wrist sentences. That being said, I always entertain the idea at some point of going out there and doing that kind of service. So it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of restrictions. Now, if I do have a wrinkle in the past, perhaps there was a time where I was a less than conscious driver, and perhaps there was a time in my life years and years ago that I might have been on the wrong side of the law. Are those instant disqualifiers, Paul, or in the process at the Department of Administration, is there somebody that would evaluate the person I was versus the person I am?
Not necessarily. Once you pass the DOA applicant process, it actually gets forwarded to the chief of police. And I'm specifically going to speak for our agency. The chief will then make the selection based on the background. Should the candidate have any criminal record? Again, it has to be, if you committed a felony crime, then I want to say the chances of it, you being your application moving forward, it's really slim to none. But simple infractions such as a speeding ticket and so forth and everything, we'll go under the advisement of the chief of police. So moving your application forward, it will be the decision of the chief of police at that time, to research and to allow the department to do the research to see if this is a viable candidate and everything. So there's two processes: the DOA process that will acknowledge the applicant and move it forward for the Guam Police Department. Once the agency head or the chief of police acknowledges that, he'll make his selection, and we go through the background investigation.
So
and again, should the discrepancies pop up, then it will be the determination of the chief of police to move forward the applicant to actually start the probationary process or the applicant's process within the academy.
So let me then ask this question: are there particular slots that are open, or is this just a generic call for people to join the job fair? As an example, if I were to apply for a specific position in the Guam Police Department, I know what you're thinking. Well, you're Ray Gibson. You'd want to be the spokesperson, and the answer is no. I would like to go directly. I'd like to go directly into SWAT. Is that possible? Can I just say on the application, would like to be SWAT?
You have to learn to walk or crawl, walk, and then run before you move into something that specialized. SWAT is a specialized unit of patrol. There are requirements you have to fulfill certain patrol hours or years within the department before you actually are acknowledged as a candidate to a viable candidate for SWAT. But that is actually a specialized division within patrol and, of course, the functions of police officers.
Can I be undercover?
You can. But
see, now that would be the cool thing, because I'd like to go and infiltrate some of these gangs for you.
Yeah, that's where we actually farm the crop. It's pretty much we look at the some of the report writings that these young officers actually provide to with their daily work, their character and everything, and it really is. You're not chasing the title. It's actually the title will find you.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to put that.
It's if you're aspiring to be this, you let that title find you, and you fit right in. And our officers, the supervisors, the commanders will take a deep look into seeing the quality aspects that this candidate may have or possess and everything, and being able to move up in ranks. This is some of the things that they have, but it starts with you filling out the application.
Yep.
A great opportunity on Saturday. Outrigger Hotel. Take advantage of that. You have DOA personnel, and you also will have the agency personnel to assist you throughout your applicant process.
All right. I think you've answered the majority of my questions, so I think I'm going to let you run. I've got a couple of other thoughts that I wanted to add to the conversation. We'll get around to doing that in a couple of minutes. 8:52 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. It is the Ray Gibson Show, and that is Officer Paul Tapau from the Guam Police Department. As I say, it would have been nice to be able to just sit down and fill out the application and go directly into the land of SWAT. I think that would be cool. And the reason why is because I already know all of the words to the SWAT theme song. Yes. Na 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 na. And you know all the words too. Go ahead, sing along. That's it. They're breaking it down now. Yeah. Rhythm Heritage Group. That's sweet. 8:53 in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. Yeah, like I said, that would be the fun way for us to do it if that was, if fun was all they were thinking about over at the Guam Police Department. That would be the ways for me to be able to go either right into detective or right into SWAT, because I think it would be cool. And as far as infiltrating gangs are going, just a thought here: if you're a member of a gang, how do you know I haven't already infiltrated your gang and now know everything about it? 8:53 in the morning. 888-8255 is the telephone number. And every once in a while, I get this lady will chime in on Facebook Live. She's almost a daily contributor of the show, one way or the other, by sending pictures taken on her phone, and then we put those up on the WhatsApp screen for you. My pal is Pam Duvall. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning.
It's so nice to hear you, and it's so nice to have you on the air as kind of an interview guest here before it gets to be 9 o'clock in the morning. You attended the safety get-together, the safety town hall in Jigo Town last night, huh?
Yes, I did.
What did you say?
Well, what I wanted to talk about was, we need traffic lights in our area, back road, where Laddie Heights and Back Road meet, also Paris Acres Back Road. We need street lights. I mentioned that on the way to the meeting from Tacano subdivision where I live, I counted 11 dogs. We just have a real big problem with that. I also wanted to talk about situations where you have residents using their yards and their, as dumping sites. Who do we call about that? I didn't want to go too long because there were several people that, took up a lot of time. But so we just touched on, the simple things.
I like the way that's on. There were other people that took up a lot of time. I get that. There's people that can't tell a story in 30 seconds.
Yeah. They want to talk about their great grandmother and, she's from this village and that. A lot of this stuff should already be, done. Trash pickup.
Well, that's a point that I want to make here, as and looking at the notes that you sent me. There's notes and action points from the preceding public safety meetings that have taken place, and you look at most of these things, and you go, is this stuff the government should already be doing? The public should not have to be asking for people to pick up trash on the side of the road. We should not be clamoring because we've got stray dog issues. We know we have these issues, and seemingly the people that should be doing the most to alleviate these problems, i.e. the mayors, they have the capability of issuing citations for stray dogs where we know where the dogs come from. We know what house they go to at night. We know which people are using their yards, front yards, as dumps. And who might be responsible for other littering in the village, but they don't write the citations. And now you've got the community, 3 different parts of our community already that say you guys got to be doing something. All we're asking for is the minimum. What's wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, since I didn't get to finish, I want to go tonight. And I want to finish. But yeah, basically, the consulate, she was very nice. She talked to her people and other islanders to show respect and gratitude. Guam is your home while you're here. Just basic stuff, but it was good. And Cito Walters, he also spoke about, in his language, to his people directly, about the shame and, how we should respect the rules and also the diversity of the cultures. So it's nice that they want to get the elders together. I think that's a really good thing. But a lot of this stuff it should already be, done. Street lights, stop signs, roadside cleaning, just on back road. People used to walk on back road a lot, but they can't anymore because the grass is taller than them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous. I still see people walking on the road. It's not safe.
All of the money that gets spent at the village level, all of the money that we're spending in salary, and we see absolutely nothing from it. Richard Leon online.
Yeah, where's the money? We need basic stuff. It's like when you go to the store, what do you buy? Junk food or meat, vegetables, and fruit. It's simple. My idea, and
glad you're not asking me to directly answer that question. Richard Leon online saying God's Narrow Road needs fixing and the mayor does nothing. What's that?
I said, for the stray dogs, here's an idea. Let's get a couple of school buses that run, gut them out, throw some cages, catch poles and radios, 2 guys in a bus, and they're accountable. Where are you guys at? There's no 3 hours at Party's for lunch. These dogs that are on the side of the road, they're easy to pick up. My God, my daughter and I have been rescuing dogs to Gain. And the problem also with Gain, they can't take any more strays, even if you rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
We rescued one a couple days ago, and we're stuck with her because Gain is full. And I'm not going to send this dog back out on the street. So we took her in, and I just paid Mobile Vet $160-some for, what her treatment needs. She's got mange. So we need another facility.
Or another more robust plan. The point that I wanted to make here, Pam, the point that I wanted to make here is that the things that you were asking about in that meeting, the things that have been asked for in the other meetings, while a couple of them directly address issues that we've got with migrant crime and drugs and alcohol, those aren't the big. Those are the bigger of the problems that need to be addressed. The rest of them are all things that the government of Guam should be doing right now. And this list of issues that come up from both of those meetings, I would hope, are lists that are available at the governor's office and at the legislature on things that we've got to action on right away. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Pam, I'll talk to you again soon online, all right?
Okay, Ray.
Love you, mean it. Bye. 888-8255 is our phone number. We are KUSG. I got you.
Over 6 hours of testimony by former special counsel Robert Mueller, Republicans are ready to put the Russia investigation in the rearview mirror.
We've gone to roughly 200 days of this new Democrat socialist majority. Name me one thing that they have solved. We have a challenge on our border. We have a trade agreement that could build more jobs, make America stronger and more prosperous. But they will not bring it up.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, but Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff says Democrats will keep digging.
We go into this next election more vulnerable than we should be. We can't control completely what Russia does, although we must do everything we can to harden our election defenses, to make sure there are paper trails.
President Trump saying the investigation created a phony cloud over his administration and says the hearings were all nonsense. As for Democrats,
they are devastated. The Democrats lost so big today. Their party is in shambles right now. They've got the squad leading their party. They are a mess.
The president with the comments before heading to a fundraiser in West Virginia. South Korea says North Korea has launched 2 projectiles into the sea off its east coast. The South Joint Chiefs of Staff says the launch came from an area near the eastern city of Wonsan. Sentencing today in Washington state for a man convicted in the 1987 deaths of a young Canadian couple. William Earl Talbot received 2 life sentences.
No words sum it up better than thank God. Talbot is finally off the streets. We, along with the people of Skagit and Snohomish County, can all breathe a sigh of relief.
Laura Banster is the sister of Jay Cook. Prosecutors say Talbot killed Cook and 18-year-old Tanya Van Klolenberg. He was charged last year using DNA evidence. This is Fox News.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fun and Mall Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hafa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
A federal judge ruling in favor of a Trump administration immigration policy.
2 refugee and immigration groups filed suit in Washington, D.C., asking a judge to block the Trump administration's change to asylum rules. The administration said those who want to seek asylum here must first ask for asylum from one of the countries they arrived in first, before reaching the U.S. border, like Mexico. Judge Timothy Kelly, who was appointed by President Trump, said the immigration groups failed to show how they would be harmed by this asylum rule change. But the ACLU is also challenging the law. They went before a judge appointed by President Obama in San Francisco today. Last year, this same judge blocked the administration's rule that would have denied asylum to those who enter the country illegally. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
California's Attorney General Javier Becerra filing suit against Move America Forward, an organization that takes donations for veterans, saying the organization has used images taken from other charities without permission and used the name and story of an injured veteran without permission on at least one occasion. A spokesman for Move America Forward says the accusations are false. NASA says the Earth is slowing down and the moon is speeding up.
This affects a lot of issues, including weather, gravitational pull, tidal bulges, and earthquakes. A slower rotation leads to stronger, more frequent earthquakes. Experts say 3 dozen intense shakers could be the norm each year as opposed to 15 now. The slowdown makes days longer as well, about 1.7 milliseconds longer than a century ago. Then in a billion years, months could be 47 days long.
Fox's Kevin Battle, the chief architect of France's historic monument, says he's afraid that the heat wave that's sweeping Western Europe could cause the ceilings of the fire-ravaged Notre Dame Cathedral to collapse. He told reporters the stone walls are still saturated with water sprayed by firefighters during the April 13th blaze, and they could dry too fast amid the record temperatures expected in Paris. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Right on. Portions of the program brought to you by my buddies over at Ruby Tuesdays. You got no plans for dinner tonight? Well, let me give you one or two. Swing by there and ask about lunch or dinner. Price to please in a brand new Ruby Tuesdays favorites menu. They got dips and wings, great ways to start, burgers and tacos, steaks and salmon. And when they do steak and salmon there, the unique thing I like about the Ruby Tuesdays is they offer toppers for them. So, yeah, there's different ways that you can put something on top of the steak that will actually enhance the flavor of it. Available for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Portions of the program also brought to you by American President Line's global presence with a local home, Micronesia Renewable Energy, where they're now working on battery systems that work with your solar systems. Batteries and solar power. Why? Because when GPA takes a hiccup, you probably won't even notice it. And don't forget, it's still the summer of Jeep at Cars Plus. Do a test drive on the Grand Cherokee, the Compass, or the all-new Wrangler. Waiting for you at 1.99% APR at Cars Plus in Mighty.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Yesterday was about perfect. We're having a conversation in between the commercials and the in and out on the broadcast. My pal Chech from the Guam Telephone Authority. GTA. Yeah. And that's still strange. I mean, it still sticks in my head. Here it is 20 years after the fact, and every once in a while I will still refer to GTA as the Guam Telephone Authority.
Hey, we still answer to it.
Right?
You work at Guam Telephone Authority? Yes,
Yeah,
but it's just GTA now.
Anyway, so we spent a little bit of time yesterday, and I thought it'd be a good idea to get you in the studio and spend a little bit more time talking about the big town hall block party that you guys are having at the new place.
Yeah, so we've got this huge block party we've got planned for Saturday, and back in May, we moved into the Camacho Landmark Center. We're really excited about it. We opened our new flagship store, which is now called our Experience Center. And just to kind of bring the community together and to show our respect to the neighborhood, we decided to have this fantastic block party, and we got together with all the partners.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking with one of them about that last night. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things. So, all the, the APL is in the building.
Yep.
There's you. There's Guahan Insurance. And I want to say that Guahan was among the first of the tenants there. And they were lonely for a couple of months.
They were. So, we've got them. We've got Infusion down the ways, Coast 360,
Yep.
PFC, on the backside, and Jerry's Kitchen. And then, just the tenants have just all come out for us and said, hey, we want to be a part of this. Yeah, so we've got this fantastic block party going on. There are going to be all kinds of specials. I believe that some of our partners are going to come out and pitch some tents, so if you want to come in and sign up for an account at Coast 360
get your insurance taken care of.
Yeah, get your insurance taken care of.
Yeah. So everybody's going to be in on it now, and that might be fun, but I'm looking for free stuff, and I'm looking for great entertainment this weekend. So what do you got?
Okay, so we've got the Phoenix Band from
Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel. Yeah, the Phoenix Stage Band. So they're going to play for us. We're pretty excited. And, they can bust out some serious old school.
Yes,
yeah.
they can. So one of the things I look forward to when I hear that they're playing, I'm going, okay, this is going to be good.
Yeah, so they're going to come out. And then we've got a bunch of free stuff that we're giving out. We've got some... for the kids, mostly for balloon animals, and we've got tattoos.
I was going to say, wait a second, because you guys give me some GTA swag every once in a while, and it's nice. You guys
I was getting to that. So we've got some pretty exciting giveaways just for that day to celebrate the grand opening. And so for the first 100 customers that come in on Saturday, if you come in and you buy an iPhone, any iPhone on our HPO plan, $55 or more, you get a free pair of AirPods.
Now, you guys gave me a pair of AirPods. And I
Are they
loved,
awesome?
oh my God, I love them. I tell you, I was doing some yard work over the weekend, and normally I bring out a Bluetooth and just crank that while I'm working.
Right.
And then and because I didn't want to sweat in them initially, right? So, but I said I'm going to give this a try. So I put these pods in my ears, and they're Bluetooth pods, and they sound incredible. And if we're talking about those Samsungs that you, I think there was Samsungs, right, that you gave me?
The Buds, yeah.
The Buds from Samsung. These guys are constantly improving it. It seems like every time I use them, I get a note that there is an upgrade of the software.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going, well, when was the last time you plugged in a pair of headphones, anything, it said, here's your upgrade.
Right.
So they're always working on something, improves the bandwidth, improves the sonics of the earbuds. But you put these things in, and all of a sudden it's all about whatever it is that you're streaming, right? So if I'm streaming the radio station, it's like I can hear, it's like I'm in the studio.
Exactly. You're just, I mean, it's like in between your ears, and you can hear it all. It's all up in your head. But so we've got that great special.
They fit really well in the ear, and so they don't fall out. And I was doing some sweaty labor over the weekend. I kept and I kept going. These are going to fall out. These are going, and they never did. They stayed in there. And the cool things is you can control on the Bluetooth because they're touch sensitive.
Yeah.
Which is also the greatest thing in the world. So you can crank up the volume. You can go to the next song. You can answer the phone. I was
about to say you can answer the phone on them.
Listen, this is
so
great.
You can totally do your yard work and then answer the phone and have a conversation, and then go back to your music once the phone call is over.
Just let me know when they come out with the software upgrade that gets the beer from the fridge for me.
Well, we're working on that one.
That'd be absolutely perfect. So there are going to be opportunities to get some swag and some cool stuff.
Totally cool swag. We've also got for those folks who are looking to come in and see what we've got to offer, we've got some quad and triple play bundle specials. You come in, you buy a triple play bundle, or you sign up for a quad play bundle, and we'll give you your choice of a free Google Home or a free Apple TV. Yeah.
So the Apple TV is a if you don't already have a smart TV,
Right.
And I'll preface it with that because there are people that still haven't gotten it. Will go out and buy themselves, a monitor or something like that, and the regular old tuner TV, and go, well, gee, what if I want to watch my Hulus and my and any more, pretty much everything, and movies and things like that I've already got on the account. I would recommend the Apple TV for sure, and the latest version of it is incredible. The remote control,
super awesome.
Because here, give you an example. This is an old Apple TV remote control. This is old school. This is old technology, and it actually works with an Apple TV that I have in the other room. And so this is what it looks like. But the new one is sexy black, and it has a microphone on it, so you can talk to your Apple TV.
Yeah, you can just be like, I want to watch Say Anything.
Yes.
And pull it right up.
And so you can play and pause and record and search and do all of these crazy things with using the microphone. I've kind of gotten used to that. So if it's one of those things, you want to be able to take advantage of the advanced technology. Plus, the other thing is it constantly updates like anything else. And Apple's sending updates through the wire all the time. Really, really, really cool technology. Now, I have to make an admission here because I don't want to because you're going to say, well, then give it back. But you guys gave me one of these Google speakers. I haven't plugged it in yet.
Give it back.
we can sell that. If you're not going to use it, give it back. It's just that because I've got the Pixel.
Well, you're all connected, so I can understand how it's like, oh, guys, one more thing.
Yeah. So you've got to explain to me because I will try it, and I might even do it today. But you've got to explain to me where's the life changer on the Google Home? Yeah, on the Google Home.
Basically, it's a smart hub. So the amazing thing about it is it'll hook up to your Android.
Automatically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a Google and the Pixel is a Google.
Yeah. And so, you can just about control anything. You can control the lights in your house if you've got those Philips Hue light bulbs.
Don't have those yet.
Smart bulbs. Well, they've got them at some of the hardware stores here.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, but and you can have your lights turned on if you've got security cameras. You can do all that, and then also you can set up your alarm system for your house if you've got one of those.
Can I? But I mean, the basics is find. I can sell it to play TuneIn and play Ray Gibson on TuneIn.
Yeah, totally.
And find things on YouTube for me to watch.
Yes, and I think that's the thing is that's what technology has done for us. It's made it so easy for us to just kind of make it a non-starter. You walk in, you're like, Google, turn on the lights. Lights are on.
I
just can't get you the beer yet.
Soon, and one of these days. And in fact, not just get me the beer. Tell me when I'm down to the last three. That's the other thing is, okay, yes, no problem, Mr. Gibson. We can send a beer right to the living room and we'll put it on the coffee table for you. By the way, there's only 3 left. So ponder the idea of ordering some more.
Feel the same way, but I gotta say that for me it'd probably be more along the lines of I need one more can of Spam.
Now you have a dog.
I do.
You have a dog.
Yeah.
Have you made the investment yet in the dog view camera thing, feeder, water?
You know what? Not yet. You had cameras in the house, so I was able to see them, but no, I haven't yet. And I'll tell you what, though, I want to just because I want to see their reaction when I go, hello. They'd be like, God.
So for years, I had a Cocker Spaniel around the house, and I always wondered because I'd leave the radio on, and so I wondered, when I opened the microphone when I was talking on the radio, did the dog go crazy trying to look for me? Well, this is a great opportunity for me to put something like that together. Except I don't have a Cocker Spaniel in the house anymore. But if you got a pet, if you got kids, this is a good way to keep an eye on the kids.
Oh man! So I had a camera in the house, and I was away on a trip, and my sister-in-law at the time was watching the house, and so she comes in the house and she didn't realize that the camera has a mic on it and a speaker. So she was in the kitchen walking around, and I saw her and I went, Jennifer.
Oh Lord! I would have if it was me, it was Jennifer. Put some clothes on. We have nosy neighbors. Jennifer.
She just the look on her face. What I do to have been able to record that. Oh my God, that was gold.
And I've got friends that are addicted to Siri, and it's amazing to me how often they break down and use it. We'll be sitting around Crust or something like that, and somebody will come up with some kind of trivial question, and the answer is almost universally anymore answered by Siri or a Google Assistant or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So we're at that point in the technology. Yeah. So you'll be able to see the latest and greatest, obviously, in the Experience Center over at the Landmark Place. Again, what time?
You know what? The block party starts at 1, goes on till 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, at 1 o'clock we're gonna have our grand opening, so we're gonna have a ribbon cutting and things of that sort.
Yeah. You gotta do that.
So then 1:30 is when the party really starts to jam.
All right. And so there's going to be entertainment. They're going to be down there. There's going to be some food all over there. Bring some folding money with you.
Yes, please.
Because it's not like they're giving away the free food. They're going to be vendors and food trucks.
We are giving away free dessert though for the first 150 people who come by.
There's an incentive.
Yeah. So we've got Z's Green Canteen and we've got Snowy. So you want to come
Which
by?
one is Snowy?
Snowy, it's a shave ice.
Okay.
Guy. I think he's the one that looks like the school bus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've seen that in a couple of places and haven't yet had the opportunity to go and find it. Listen, it might be hot this weekend, so some shave ice might work out for you.
Right.
So latest and greatest technology in the store right now. And when we say latest and greatest, that's a moving target in the land of technology.
Yeah.
Right. So can you give me an idea? What's the next big deal? We're talking about, and I'll always brag about my Pixel phone, and Mike's got a Samsung 10 in there, and so what is the next iteration? We're August in a couple of days,
right?
And then it's August and September, and in September everybody goes crazy on new iPhones and new Samsungs, right?
Yep.
So is that the schedule this year?
That's pretty much a schedule every year.
Every year.
Yeah. So just about September, that's when when Samsung lets go of their new phones, and then come around October, November is when Apple lets go of their iPhones. So we got some cool stuff.
So what are you hearing? What are the boys testing?
You know what? I'm sworn to secrecy.
Count.
And unless you're my priest, I can't say anything.
Well, here's the thing, and I got telecom guys next door to me, and frankly, they don't tell me the toys they're playing with.
Yeah.
But, just inside.
Well, they don't tell me either until they give it to me to give you.
So marketing, but trust me, there are people from Apple on Guam all the time. Yeah. And they go around and say they go to the different telecom places and say this is the phone that we're rolling out, and we want you to run X number of tests on this with your existing system to make sure that everything works, because Apple wants to make sure that the day they roll out a new product on Guam or anywhere in the world, it has 100% functionality.
You know what? I can neither confirm or deny.
Yes. Yeah, there's every once in a while, a rent-a-car will pull up into the parking space, and there'll be people I don't recognize walking around the back of my building next door. So that's how I know that the Apple guys are in town doing their thing. But there is obviously some cool new technology that's coming up.
Yeah, there's stuff coming up. And we're hoping that definitely with Samsung, they're coming out with their newest version of the Note, and then iPhone will be coming out, and they always kind of try and do better. What I've noticed is that we normally don't hear about it until at least about a month out.
Until the marketing. The marketing stuff comes out.
So our guys in the back have been playing with it for a while. We just get it, into our hands.
Isn't that freaky when you realize that you can go to a YouTube guy? There's an Indian guy on YouTube that already has the 411 on the new iPhones and the new Samsungs.
Right, and they're unboxing it, and you're sitting there going,
how do you get that?
Right, exactly. So we're just, okay.
Well, we ought to do that. We ought to do that when one of the new phones comes out. We'll bring it in and we'll do an unboxing here on the radio so that everybody can see what's inside of it, what comes with it. Because the thrill of getting the phone is gone.
Yeah.
The thrill of getting the goodies that come with the phone is gone.
It's all, you know what? It's about the accessories now.
That's what I was trying to say is the accessories. So you get a phone, and anymore, I want to see what kind of headphones come with it. I want to find out if there's a headphone jack that comes on the phone. We don't have that on Apples anymore.
Right, not anymore. It's part of your lightning cable.
Right. So you use the lightning cable, and now on the Pixels and the Samsungs, they've gone to the C connector.
Yep.
And that's the only way in. So you got if you've got a good pair of wired headphones that you like, you need to get the adapter. And in many cases, the adapter comes with the phone, thank God.
Right. I mean, everybody, more than anything, I think nowadays what they do is they just try and make sure that they grandfather everybody in. So there's an adapter for just about anything.
Yeah. And that'll be good, which is the other thing that I want you to look for when you go to the Experience Center is all of the adapters and accessories that you need. So one of the things, the first thing that you learn is, wow, I need more than one charger. I need more. I need a charger that I can plug into the wall. I need a standby gizmo. I need a battery pack or a juice pack back in the old days.
God, so I mean, it's almost as if now everybody has to carry a bag because they got to carry all their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna, we're eventually gonna come out with bags.
When is everybody going to go and follow the lead of Samsung and just come out with a high-speed charger adapter? Because it seems to me that's right. Because you get you can get any adapter that will plug into the wall and give you the slow trickle at 5 milliamps or whatever into your phone. But I want the fast chargers. Why doesn't everybody just come out with a fast charger out of the box?
Well, because you know what, they make more money selling you all the goodies that come with the phone, that need to come with the phone. I mean, I'm thinking that's the way it goes, because even for us, we're like, oh my God, I need this phone to charge up in like 3 seconds. How come it's not happening?
Right?
Yeah. we do live in a world of instant gratification.
Yes. A couple of folks online, Smug Wimp, and his idea here is don't get smart bulbs, get smart controllers is what he's suggesting. He says his bulbs are totally stupid, but they work fine with Lutron controllers. So you might want to consider that as you're thinking about what we refer to around here as the Internet of Things. Nate Horn asking about the next iPhone release date. Do you have something like that you can share?
Not a release date, but you can expect it around maybe mid-October to between mid-October and mid-November.
Yeah,
that's usually when we roll it out.
Jose Martinez, will they be having deals on iPhones? I think we've reached the threshold of needing the newest models justifies the price paid, and that's absolutely correct. I might not need a new phone. I want a new phone.
Yes, this is true. And so that's the beauty of the HPO plan that we have over at GTA is you can sign up for the HPO plan and upgrade, as opposed to, our older, more traditional plans where you go in for 2 years and you're stuck with the phone for 2 years. So, and then this time around, at least on Saturday, you come in and you sign up for this HBO plan. You get any iPhone on the HBO plan, and we will give you the AirPods. Be one of the first 100.
Right. So when it does come out, you got the new phone and you've got the AirPods.
And
you can start using those already. Now I will make a suggestion to you, and that is you need to come in here when Bob Klitsky is on.
Oh boy.
He's got. I was looking at his. He'd forgotten his phone here the other day, and so he was looking at it because it was in the studio, and I don't know what version number iPhone it was, but it had the old 40-pin adapter on it.
His phone's so old, I think it's analog.
It might be an analog cell phone. You're right. It might be an old analog cell phone. It's just crazy.
It wasn't a flip phone.
Well, those are going to come baback.
They are. I'm excited about it, actually.
So are we going to be able to see, are we going to get previews of that from GTA?
Well, you'll find out when we find out.
Because forget about the functionality. There's still something sexy and Star Trek-like about, the old clams, the
I'm
old
telling you,
flip phones.
everybody I know is like, man, I wish, Motorola would come back out with their Razr. We'd come out with the Razr. That was my favorite cell phone. It really was. It was such a cool phone.
So Red Reddington on the television show Blacklist that I've been binging on Netflix uses one of those Motorola flip phones. That's what he communicates with on. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think it's an old movie. I don't think it's an old from back in the day TV show.
No, not that old.
No, because everybody else got fancy phones. But maybe it's just a burner concept. Maybe it's just one of those things that they're doing.
Probably so, because he's supposed to be flying under the radar.
Yeah. Now, will there be anything new happening in that world? The prepaid versus postpaid.
Well, as far as if we're talking about handsets and that sort, handsets are not necessarily tough, but when we go into the prepaid world, it gets a little bit more challenging because, of course, our prepaid folks are not folks who want to stick to a plan, and so we have to find them more affordable handsets. But we are noticing that because this is happening, and it's not just here on island, but it's kind of a worldwide thing, that the phone developers, cell phone developers, are starting to come up with stuff that is more exciting. So you've got blue phones that are really exciting. they're almost just as good as
Well,
the
I mean, that's
Samsung.
the kind of the amazing thing is a basic functionality, and you think gas station phone, fine, I just need this for making and receiving telephone calls, and we're not going to be doing anything crazy with it. But you're right, these gas station phones that are coming out, they've got the almost very similar technology to what you can spend $1,100-$1,200 for.
Yeah, totally. And if you're not hooked on a tag, you're not hooked on a brand, then these phones will take you. I mean, I know that when we talk about our prepaid lineup, we always kind of sit there like, really? This is amazing.
So when are we going to come back to the day, and we were talking about juice boxes and things like that a few minutes ago, when are we going to come back to the day where you and I might be able to, and I actually had the opportunity to do this the other day on an older phone that I was messing around with a SIM on, is you open the back of it and you take the battery out and you stick another one in.
Oh,
you
right?
remember that?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was I just got to go get another battery.
Those worked such a tough time. I used to have on my old Motorola, the original Motorola clam. You could get a charger and you could put the phone in the charger, and it would charge the small one, the small battery that came with, and it had a space in it for the big battery that the After 5 battery is what I called it.
That's
right, because that's the one that you plugged into After 5. One of these days we can do something like that. The A20 Samsungs are great. Another somebody talking about the Vivo has its X27, which is great, and also Oppo Reno. I don't know what that means.
That's an upcoming brand. When I was in Manila last year or earlier this year, that seems to be another brand, not one that we have on island, or at least not that GTA offers. But yeah, Oppo seems to be coming up in Asia.
Oppo is just a brand?
Yeah, it's just a brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now James Howard says, get the Elon Musk Neuralink, but I think he's pulling my leg because we're talking about advanced space age technology. Is there such a thing, the Neuralink, yet?
Not in my world.
But one of these days.
Yeah, probably. That's the little chip that he's wanting to put in everybody's head. I think that's what he's talking about. Right?
Yeah, like on that Broken Mirror, Black Mirror TV show. You're just something that you put on your head, and it will take over the synapses in your brain, and you can be in the middle of it. I know, but I like them. I kind of like the technology that they're talking about in some of these scary shows that are out there.
Take out all those bad memories, or I don't remember that.
Anyway, 9:28 in the morning, and I'm going to let you run in a couple of minutes. But have we missed anything on the plug for the block party? Because I think it really is going to be something fun for a lot of people to do this weekend. Number one, get to meet your neighbors, and number two, get to see the latest and the greatest in the technology and all the accessories that are available.
No, I don't. I think that's pretty much about it. Other than the fact that we just really want everybody to come out and have a good time. Saturday, from what I understand, the weather's supposed to clear up. Knock on wood, and come on out, bring your chairs. Bring your hats, bring your fans.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. You might see me there. I've got a couple of plans. A buddy of mine wants to go pew pew, not octopus pew pew, but
come on, octopus pew pew.
It's great.
You gotta love it.
There needs to be a section of the store named after him. It's the octopus section or something like that. 9:29 in the morning. And Chet, thanks so much for coming by and tell me all about the cool stuff. And the other thing, it's just fun to talk about technology.
Right.
Yeah. but today technology and the comparison to yesterday technology. Earlier in the program, I played the video of the Nintendo Top Gun game.
Whoa.
You remember playing the original 8-bit with the 8-bit music in the background?
Dude, that's like that's you're pulling
effects.
It out way from way back.
Yeah. Well,
I remember Duck Hunt, and that was my favorite.
So I think maybe as we start talking about the first anniversary of the Experience Center, maybe that would be something fun to do is compare and contrast. Here is new technology, and oh, by the way, let's introduce our kids to old Nintendo stuff because there's still those old game rigs that are out there. There's still old Nintendos and PlayStations.
There's a part of me that wants to put up like a sort of kind of a museum, considering that GTA's been in the game the longest. From our landlines.
Rotary dial,
man. Rotary dial. Kids nowadays wouldn't know what to do with it.
I've seen the video. I've seen it. 9:30 in the morning. Thanks for coming by. We'll talk to you pretty soon. We'll kill the rest of the program. Another half hour of the Ray Gibson Show coming up after these.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Dude, I wasn't ready for that. I caught my toe. What? Let's just stop. Record. The needle was pick up off the record, and didn't know what happened.
Almost made you jump.
No, I'm just looking at a couple of interesting items in my inbox that are kind of making me jump as well. We were anticipating about 9:30 or so, word coming in from Congressman Mike Sinicolas's office and in Washington, D.C., positive coverage by the House on a measure that would close the loophole on payment for World War II survivors. That was originally supposed to take place earlier in the day. That got moved to 7:30 Eastern. My understanding is it was moved again to about 8 o'clock Eastern, and that will be at 10 o'clock in the morning, Guam, tomorrow Standard Time.
Yeah, the Mueller thing is actually the big deal today.
Well, but all news is local news, and so if that's one of the things that is affecting the conversation that needs to take place on the vote, then we'll let you know. I've got a link from Sahara Defensor that I will post up on Facebook Live so that you can find it. And let me see, copy link address. Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I will put that over here and paste it into the gizmo. And you will be able to follow that as well. So the vote will take place online, and if I did that copy and paste right, then that should what's on Facebook Live should change color in a second. I'll see if there's a simpler URL that I can put. There it is. Okay, so you'll be able to click on that link, and it will take you to a Facebook Live thing of the House, and that should be happening about 10 o'clock this morning. We should be able to see how that goes. We're not anticipating any rival activity. They recognize, most of the people that Mike has sold it to recognizes that it was merely some kind of an oversight. This is a quick way to, as quick as they can do things in Congress to close this loophole and make way for people whose cases have already been adjudicated and practically awarded already, except there's no funds to write the checks on, and that's all that we got to worry about. And then we can maybe move forward with a conversation, another conversation that they can have over at the legislature on where that's going to go. At any rate, it's 9:34. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect. Ask them about ways that you can save some money on in your internet and mobile plans for the coming months here. 888-255-888-TALK is the telephone number. I've got a lot of shiny on my video screen here, so some of this is going to get clicked out. Some of it I didn't have a chance to say so, but there are a bunch of other people playing around on Facebook Live that I wanted to say good morning to, including Evelyn Z. Kempis, who is listening over at the GTA Experience Center. Galo Perez, Joe Leasealangi. I got Terry DeBold online. Hannah Iriarte, I call her Director Joe, who is on the line right now. Rudy Magallanes, and this is a reference back to something I was talking about last hour, watching television and coverage at the time of the Apollo moon landing. And if you go back 50 years, not quite on this date, but pretty close to it, they would have splashed down already. Yeah. By now. I think that happened on yesterday's day in history. Kenny Williams is online, and I'm assuming back on Guam, and that's good for me to know because he needs to come by and sprinkle varmint killer all over the house. I don't know what it is, and it's not like I live at the edge of a jungle or something like that, but it is just amazing the kind of bugs that I'm beginning to discover in the house. Big spiders, not so much. Little scary spiders. My dad taught me once years ago. He says, "You see the big both banana spiders in the house every once in a while, the ones that look like they're big enough to have teeth." He says, "Don't worry about those. Those probably never give you a hard time. It's the little tiny spiders." And he says the smaller the spider is, the more painful the bite is going to be.
Yeah, there's a particular jumping spider here. It's a very small one, but they are aggressive. If you get around their spot, they will jump on you and bite you.
Yeah.
Conversely, I have a problem with actually, they're spiders with long, skinny legs. So they're not really harmful to me. They just like eating all the bugs that manage to walk in. But man, they're all over the place.
If you were an arachnophobe, yeah, it could be a problem for you. But anyway, Kenny, I'll make contact with you, and you can do whatever it is that you do. Like I said, sprinkle some varmint killer around the house, and take care of that. Buddy Jose Martinez online this morning, and Pam had Pam on a little bit earlier, but she wanted to go off and watch one of the cases unfold over at the courthouse. We'll talk about that in a second. Marie Arruejo Kaingat is online. Antiloli is there. Vince Pereda is playing around online. I see my buddy Eric Rosario and Donna Munoz O'Regan. Donna Munoz. Love that name. Love the voice that is attached to that. Joe 1010 is there. Big Sister Shelley is online. Steve Reuter checking in. See what's going on. New study shows if spiders organized, they could take out the human race in days. Yeah, and Shelley talking about mutant roaches. These are the roaches, and she's right. I think she's got some over at her house as well. These are the roaches that even after you step on them, they're still alive. Even if they're oozing guts and blood, cockroach guts, but they're still alive and they're still moving, and they're still capable of flying.
Yeah, well, that's because they have like two brains. So if you smash the one, the other one's still controlling stuff. The only way to get rid of them is to spray them and then watch them slowly die.
So this is why you got to listen to the radio fast here, because every once in a while something will pop up and you go, did I hear what I thought? Cockroaches have two brains?
I want to say that the study has shown that they have a nervous system where the main brain is, of course, in the head, but they have a secondary kind of an autonomous nervous system in the middle body that will control things. That's why you can chop the head off of a roach and it'll continue to roll around and do things like a normal roach does, but it'll eventually starve to death because it can't eat. But it'll keep living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kenny, if you're still online,
he could verify that.
Well, I know. Part of me wants you to call him, and just because this is one of those interesting things on the phone, and the interesting parts of the program. I mean, I start with the Mercury is in retrograde theme, and that might be the theme for tomorrow. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is Friday, as you know. Like you really need the guy on the radio to tell you what days of the week it is. But tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow traditionally no frowny faces on Friday. So we're going to have we're going to have interesting conversations that might get you riled up, but riled up, I suppose, in a good way. Joe Cruz, if I only had one brain, I'd be dangerous. Smug Wimps, is there rumors that guys have two brains too, often referred to as the big brain and the little brain? I'm not taking the bait, Smug. I am not going to take the bait that you are laying out there. I'll leave that for the rest of the folks that are on Facebook Live and chiming in this morning. Where do I need to go? As usual, I like to take a pat. I already took a break. We just did a break. Oh, did I need? But I already said iConnect time. I did say. But we didn't do the rest of it. Okay. This is this inside baseball stuff here. I get the producer making hand signs at me saying we got to take a break, even though I think we already took the break. It's true. So 20 away from 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll be right back. iConnect time is 9:39. Chirp, chirp.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Go, Wendy's. Hurry up, because the salad. They got the... Yeah, it's a grilled chicken that goes on top of the greens, and then they mix it all up with strawberries, and there's blackberries in there. Or are they blueberries? They're berries. There's some kind of berries. Feta cheese. You can sprinkle some almonds on them if you don't have an allergy to that. And then we've got the raspberry vinaigrette. It is the berry burst chicken salad, and that's what you're having for lunch today at Wendy's.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. Our office is currently visiting our villages, providing contact information for our office, and taking any inquiries we may be of service with. All vehicles and staff are appropriately identified for your safety. Please feel free to let our constituent outreach team know how we can be of service to you, and thank you for your kindness.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Joe Cruz online says, I love this show. How did I survive without it before the point? Well, because I used to do it at another radio station, you remember? Yes, it's a long time ago, back in the days, and then I took a little bit of time off to rebuild the Boss 104 and put Star 101 on the air, and then we had the opportunity to open this thing up, and they said, what do you want to do with your other radio station? I said, I want to go back on talk radio. But I kind of want to do it. It's the same but different from the way it was before. And part of it is that I get to be, I think, a little bit more me. I think in the past versions of the Ray Gibson show, and it's just me in a stream of consciousness now. I was trying to be. Trying to meet expectations of that time period on that station, and based on the guy that was doing it for 20 years before me. But now it's more me than that.
Yeah, the show, as you gave me the option of kind of inventing some of it, and it always was in my mind supposed to be more about personality and entertainment, along with the opinion and things that come with it.
So I can have there are days where I go, well, do I need to have an opinion on something, or can I just go and point out the sheer dumbness of even talking about the topic? And this town here, as you know, ripe for the opportunities to do that, with all kinds of people that are running around throwing solutions that are out looking for problems and ignoring the problems that we already have that really, really, really need dealing with. But we'll save some of that conversation. 888-825-888-TALK. Another new restaurant open in Tumon Saturday. Really? Which one is that? What one is that, Chris? Spill the beans. James Howard, Buffalo wins, humans lose again. I don't know what that is in reference to.
That's a viral video that's going around where you had tourists, I believe it was in Yellowstone National Park, being stupid and got really close to the buffalo, and a little girl got tossed.
Yeah, 9-year-old.
Yeah, she
saw
wound
the
up being
picture.
Okay, but...
Yeah, I saw the picture, but I didn't actually watch the rest of the story. But it's true. You know what? Here's the thing about the buffaloes and the parks. Those things are not tame. They're not domesticated.
No, and they're not nice either.
I'm very, very careful. You know, I always talk about going hiking out in the middle of the boondocks, and there are times where we're out there in the middle of the boondocks in places where there are wild caribou.
Yeah,
caribou. Is it wild carabaos? Then it would be the plural here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wild carabaos. And everybody will say, oh, how cute, I want to take a picture. And I said, get the hell away from that animal. It's been a hot day. I don't see a lot of water around. And on hot days without a whole lot of hydration, carabaos here can turn deadly. And of course, you know they have horns. So that makes them a little bit dangerous. Jose Martinez talking about Starship Troopers is prophetic. Heinlein saw the future. I love Starship Troopers, and I yearn for any excuse to watch the show. I think it's I love the program. I feel bad that more of the stars that were in that movie, Starship Troopers, didn't go on to become more and better famous. Right. And I remember it being so gory in certain parts of the movie. I remember being scolded by the last administration about, do you have to watch that with the kids? I was on. I don't know. They wandered into the room and saw the thing, and it stuck the pointy part into the girl, and she died bloody. And not my fault. Anyway, 9:45 in the morning. So you got that. Items in the table of contents that may or may not have gotten to this morning. The public safety job fair that is going to be taking place. And naturally, as I talk about the public safety job fair, it gives me another opportunity to see if I can play. Oh, I don't have it up on the screen anymore. The rap theme from Police Academy for Citizens on Patrol. You'll have to do that yourself. Does it feel like that's what might end up being? Maybe we ought to go. Maybe we ought to go to that. Just go check the thing out Saturday morning from 10 to 4. It'll be at the Outrigger. And you need to have, they say, at least a high school diploma to check this thing out. Now, I've been to many job fairs here on Guam as part of what we need to do here at the radio station and maintaining a good face with the EEOC and places like that. We are required from time to time, and most people with a federal ticket have to do this as well, go and participate in a job fair. And let me just tell you that sometimes the people that show up at the job fair, it's just, you ever see general delivery in the post office? You ever watch gladiators fight, Tommy?
I bet Rambo Milk's been to a few job fairs.
There's a certain kind of unwashed humanity that can sometimes come out to these things, and you just want to say, wear your nice Zoris if you're going to the job fair. And it's just how many of these maybe it's a sting. Maybe this is another way to look at it. Maybe this is some kind of a sting. The police department putting it together. We're going to have a job fair. See what kind of people show up, and see if there's anybody that rings a bell based on unsolved crimes. You know, well, just something along those lines. Where are we? I think I might have an answer now to this question here. Saturday, Chris says, JT Manukan opens in that strip mall where Cracked Egg is. What? Wait. And Burger King and Gabriel's is Filipino in Isal, or barbecue chicken. Oh. So there is another new place that is opening up in downtown Tumon area, right there in the middle. All right, I know where Cracked Egg and Gabriel's is. And now someplace new, Inasal chicken, made Filipino style.
I really wanted to go eat at Cracked Egg. Haven't been able to make it to that place yet.
Can I say the same thing? And the owner's like a very good friend of mine, and I always say, yeah, any minute now. But always by the time I'm near Cracked Egg, I've already had breakfast, or it's not breakfast time anymore, and I'm sure they're open for something other than that. But still, where are we? Wait. What happened? There's breaking news here. Puerto Rico governor going to resign?
Yeah, they were talking about that on Fox News. He said he was going to, then his aide came along and said, no, he's not going to.
Well, what aide does he have left standing? His chief of staff resigned.
Yeah, this I guess was communications guy. And so evidently there are people that are protesting outside in front of the governor's palace.
Oh, he's got to
resign.
No, he's got to.
Yeah. After the things he said, yeah.
Yeah, you can't come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
He's finished.
Yeah.
He's finished. I mean, you can't even say, I was just kidding. Or, no, that wasn't me. That was somebody who sounds a lot like me.
Well, and when you look at the fact that they had a hurricane over a year ago, and still most of the electrical infrastructure is in tatters. If he were doing his job, that would have been fixed.
James Howard with a response to Shelley and that news. That's what happens when the people organize. Getting the ideas in there, Jim. Chris Chip says, in partnership with the famous actor Joel Torre in the Philippines. So cool, someplace new to eat down there. All right, we'll charge up the credit card and see what it's like. 10 away from the top of the hour, 888-825-5888-TALK. And there's a few other things that have been running around in my head. A little bit of a crime stuff here, you know, as the police are starting to talk about going out there and doing some kind of a job fair, and maybe inviting members of the migrant community if possible, if they've got their United States certifications, if they become citizens, then they can join up. In the meantime, we will see the I want to say the Mangilaw Machete Marauders. We never really did come up with an easier name for these guys. Retulep and Resilap, they are going to trial. Watch this case. Watch this case like a hawk. And let's see what happens once these guys are on the stand, once the witnesses go on the stand, once the victims go on the stand, and see what happens. I also want to see how the sentencing will eventually go. I don't know that this is a slam dunk, but I don't think there is any reason why anybody, a prosecutor over at the Attorney General's office, would offer any kind of plea agreement to these guys.
No, but keep in mind that the biggest charge is actually an attempted murder charge, as he struck another guy with the machete. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the rest of it's all misdemeanor stuff. It's just, disorderly conduct, and, that's just so. Even so, they won't get much on him. But
right.
But
using the current conventional wisdom, what I can see happening is we'll plea out the manslaughter or the attempted manslaughter charges, right? We'll get rid of that.
Right.
If you plead guilty to the misdemeanors.
Right.
And then then I think they're going to go judge shopping and find the least vindictive of the judges.
They might get time served.
Yeah, they might get time served.
I think
right?
they're still in. So
yeah, well, because neither one of them can make the bail. The bail was set high.
Yeah,
and it was a cash bail too. So that's what could possibly happen. And in my mind, if it goes down like that, travesty of justice. In the very least, these guys should be doing some serious time on the attempted charge. Definitely serve whatever the time they got on the misdemeanor charges, and be made to pay restitution to the victims of the crime, and then get stuck on a United flight back to someplace besides here. I think these guys have, and especially one of them who had already been on felony release on some other charges. So watch this case like a hawk and see if the version of justice that we want gets served. We got to serve these up. I'll be right back.
Get 2 Pepsi 12-packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a Pepsi 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get 2 Coke 12-packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Worry less and stay connected when traveling for business. With Docomo Pacific's Data to Go, you can use your local data abroad, whether you're accessing emails, surfing the web, or just keeping in contact with your family and friends. For just $10 a day on any postpaid plan, you can get access to any of our 17 Data to Go destinations. Don't wait. Call 688-2677 or email businesssales@DocomoPacific.com to make sure your account is Data to Go ready. You plus Docomo Pacific, better together.
Got the internet screen on to see if I can find a reference in here to a measure that Mike Nicholas is moving through the House right now, and to see if it was going to be late in the day. Resolution. What have I got here for bills? Let's see, because it's a bill that we're talking about, right? Affirming this, affirming that, HR 397, Autism Care Act, Post-Disaster Assistance Online, Lifespan, yada, yada, yada. What else is there? Votes? Are we voting on? I don't think those are, any of those are the ones that I'm looking for.
No, I don't see the number in there.
735, da-da-da-da-da. Well, keep an eye on this. Sahara said that she was going to see if there was a way that she could get a hold of me before any major action occurs with the measure that Mike Nicholas is working on at I was going to say the legislature. He's not at the legislature anymore. I'm going to send 22 letters I found on the internet and see if they get their sentences reduced. You know what I've actually got, and I didn't have a chance to read it yesterday, and you might want to find Ken Leon Guerrero, because Ken actually wrote, when we're talking about this Rick Sanchez guy that got another one of these sweet deals, interestingly, out of the district court, Ken LG actually sent a letter asking for a stiff penalty. He was one of, and I don't know that I know of, it might be the only one. I also sent me the rest of the letters that were sent in support of Mr. Sanchez from a variety of members of the community and family and friends and all of that stuff. And as I said yesterday, I might like to get you copies of those things and put them in some kind of a repository. I might send them to my sister Shelley, and with the instructions to wherever it says Rick or Rick Sanchez or the defendant, take all of that stuff out and put my name in there. Because clearly, those were effective letters. They were. The idea is that members of the community, and we're going to be going for a shorter sentence. We'll see if we can bring it down to just time served and all of that stuff. Okay, yeah, let's do that. But apparently, it was effective, because He got what he wanted, and those people got what they wanted. So I don't know which of the 22 or 23 letters did the job. So we would just submit all of them. So I'm going to get, I've got copies of the letters that were written for Rick. And then I'm going to cut and paste, take his name out, stick my name in, leave them with Shelley. And then if something happens to me and I find myself somehow or another on the wrong side of the law, then all she's got to do is present them to a judge. And then I should be able to get off with just time served and not actually have to do any serious jail time. 888-8255 is it. I'm not going to give you the phone number. It's pointless to use it right now anyway because the show's going to be over in like 4 minutes or something like that. I am getting word though. Press that one. No, the other one. There it is. Maybe the most important part of the program here, and it's the part where we learn something about the varmints that we share our home with. Kenny Williams writes that it's not so much that they have two brains, it's that they have a brain and a ventral nerve cord and a segmental ganglia, it says. Yeah. One long segmented brain.
That's why I say basically, I mean, you can chop their heads off and they'll keep living, they'll keep running around.
Because they still got the rest of the part of the nervous system.
Frankly, it's the segmental ganglia that controls their breathing and their heart, so they'll just keep going. But eventually, they will starve to death because they can't eat anymore.
Well, and if you cut their head off, they don't have a mouth anymore either.
There you go.
All right, so that's the story there from Ken, and he says, you are correct, Mike. Oh, isn't that nice? And so because this is a program that is on the internet and Facebook Live and YouTube Live, it is useless without pictures. And there you can see the picture that Kenny sent to us here, which shows as clear as possible, as clear as we can put it on Facebook, the brain, the ventral nerve cord, and the segmental ganglia.
Frankly, Kenny said something to me that I haven't heard since I got married.
What's that?
You're right.
You're right. 9:58 and change, and we'll call that basically the end of this program here today. It was supposed I was going to spend more time talking about strapping on a gun and a badge and becoming a lawman because there's going to be a public safety job fair taking place from 10 to 4. You might at the Outrigger now. You might be going, but Ray, I don't want to be a policeman. Okay, you can work over at DepCorps. What kind of seventh pillar of hell is that? To be one of the guys that works over at the Department of Corrections, I would. There is no part of me that wants any part of that job. And you can say, well, what about giving back to the community? Yeah, whatever. Then there's they're looking for guys to work over at Customs and Quarantine, which might be good. Because remember they had that one guy that they busted over at Customs and Quarantine for stealing some stuff, CBD oils and iPhones and stuff like that, and he got a slap on the wrist too, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking that might be one of those things where you get a job and it's kind of all you can eat. No, that's not really how I feel. Just saying. Like I said, it's sometimes the sheer stupidity of things just is right there in front of you, and you've got to acknowledge it. And one last thing that I thought was interesting. Apparently, there were 2 crazy women with knives events on Liberation Day. There's the one that we had the video for, and then a whole other one that took place out in the boondocks somewhere. And I just a thought here. Crazy women with knives. I'm thinking Bobbitt. A Lorena Bobbitt story could be in the offing here unless we get some kind of control over the mental health issues that we've got in this town.
Chicks with pigs.
There's a website for that. Thankfully, it's not this one. We're KUSG had gotten you. It's 10 o'clock. See you tomorrow.
Not letting go. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. After hours of testimony by Special Counsel Robert Mueller, Democrats say they will continue to investigate Russian ties to the Trump administration.
There's a cone of silence in the White House that is engaged in a massive cover-up in the obstruction of justice. Those obstruction of justice charges, as has been demonstrated today in the hearings, could be indictable offenses by anybody else, not the President of the United States and the President when he's no longer President.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Republicans say it's time to move on.
It was a historical day because the day is the day that we close the book on this investigation. It is time that America turns the page. It is time for America to move forward. The Democrats have to stop wasting time and trying to have a do-over of the 2016 presidential election.
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. President Trump says the Russia investigation created what he called a phony cloud over his administration and says the hearing